Chapter 1270. Patriarch. Everyone in the Z family was grieving. The oldest member of the Z family had passed away, and it was difficult for them to calm down. Before he died, he still pleaded for mercy for the Z family, making them feel as if a knife was being twisted in their hearts. Sigh. Su Yan also let out a long sigh. It was not easy for the Z family to guard this secret for generations. Even the location of the treasury was only known to Zi Zhengyang alone. Now that Su Yan knew about this, the anger in his heart dissipated. There are really all kinds of people in this world. Tai Rooster sighed. Because of the broken cauldron, some people in the Z family had evil thoughts. However, Zi Hong's bloodline had always been against it. Otherwise, the people who had hunted down Su Yan back then would have been much more than this. But if they had really done this back then, there would be no friendship left now. Su Yan, Zi Hong said solemnly. Since I am the patriarch of the Z family now, I represent the entire Z family and announce one thing here. The Cosmos Business Alliance has completely belonged to the burial realm. Tai Rooster was speechless. He did not expect that the Cosmos Business Alliance would belong to the burial realm. Now that they had obtained the Cosmos Business Alliance, it meant that they had obtained an endless amount of resources. This clan would definitely be able to develop countless times in a short dozen years. If a clan had enough financial support, it would be completely different. As for, Zi Hong said in a low voice, you can deal with the sinners of the Z family however you want. Su Yan, the other members of the Z family should not be implicated by their bloodline. Zi Xiaoning looked at him. She did not want to see the scene of blood flowing like a river. However, she also knew that it was impossible for the Z family to gain Su Yan's trust. Xiaoning, the Cosmos Business Alliance is in your hands. Your wish has been fulfilled. Su Yan smiled at her. Zi Xiaoning felt complicated. In fact, she did not want to control the Cosmos Business Alliance. She wanted to develop her own business. However, since the Cosmos Business Alliance had fallen into her hands, she believed that it would provide greater help to Su Yan and the others. Patriarch Zi Hong. Su Yan said to him again. I still have something important to do. I need to rush to the Chaos Ruins. I'll leave the Z family's matters to you. Su Yan and Tai Rooster disappeared into the Chaos Ruins, leaving a group of the Z family members behind. The entire clan was silent. Su Yan didn't kill anyone, but they really felt that the Z clan had collapsed. Cosmos Business Alliance with the Z family, but the Cosmos Business Alliance that they had painstakingly for so many years. Suppress the criminals and take them away. In addition, investigate the people who were involved in hunting Su Yan back then. I do not wish for anyone to escape. I hope that you will not interfere. Su Yan has not used force against us for the time being on account of Xiaoning. However, the other experts of the Zhang region will not give up so easily. Now we should work together to overcome this crisis. Zi Hong's eyes were cold. At the same time, he looked deeply at the Purple Jade King and said coldly, take your own life to atone for your crimes. The Purple Jade King trembled. The Z family members knew very well that if it were not for this matter, Su Yan would not have dealt with the Z family at this critical juncture. That's right, how could there be such an easy thing in this world? The Z family celebrated the destruction of the burial realm. The burial realm won, and the Z family returned. What are you laughing at? On the way, Su Yan glared at Tai Rooster, who was secretly laughing. Haha, Su Yan, I see that you trust that woman quite a lot. Tell me, what is your relationship with her? Is the Cosmos Business Alliance being taken over by her just like that? Tai Rooster's heart was filled with the flames of gossip. Did this charming woman have an unusual relationship with Su Yan? Hearing this, Su Yan said, if the outside world knew that the Cosmos Business Alliance belonged to the burial realm, I really don't know what would happen to the Cosmos Business Alliance. Now that Xiaoning is in control of the Cosmos Business Alliance, she is also familiar with the Cosmos Business Alliance. This business alliance can operate smoothly. I reckon that very few people in this world will do business with you." Tai Rooster chuckled. He did not completely believe Su Yan's words. He guessed that he was hiding something from this woman. "Leave the Z family's matter to the family members to handle. I don't care. In fact, the Z family is much better than the Kuan family. They are not a traitor." Speaking of the Kuan family, Su Yan gritted his teeth. Unfortunately, the Kuan family had long since fled. "Be careful. Ahead is the passage to the 10 Chaos Sacred Mountains. We can't go too deep after we pass through this secret realm." At this moment, Tai Rooster cautioned. The journey from this entrance to the Chaos Ruins could be greatly shortened. However, there was one important point. Even powerful beings could not enter the secret realm. Of course, with Tai Rooster's ability, he could still cross the border. The 10 Chaos Sacred Mountains. Su Yan's pupils shrank. His eyes shone brightly as he looked at the vast 10th passage of the chaotic Divine Mountain. That was where the God Burial Mountain had appeared back then. Su Yan would never forget the scene on the God Burial Mountain. There were even 6 supreme treasures on the God Burial Mountain. He did not know their grades, but they were definitely related to the ancient celestial court. If he could obtain these 6 supreme treasures, it would be enough to shock the world. He could definitely kill his way into the depths of the sealed heaven domain. 1. Su Yan's eyes shone brightly as he saw through the layers of rules. Soon, he saw the entrance to the God Burial Mountain. The Chaos Sacred Mountain of the 9 great celestial mountains was among them. People called it the God Burial Mountain. However, they did not know that it was one of the 9 great celestial mountains. Su Yan did not know the origin of the 9 great celestial mountains. There was one progenitor behind the celestial mountains, one Big Dipper, one God Burial Mountain, and one bipolar star. Su Yan knew of the 4 great celestial mountains and had visited them before. As for the rest of the celestial mountains, Su Yan did not know. However, the 9 great celestial mountains were terrifying. The rest of the celestial mountains should not be destroyed. "Why are you looking here?" Tai Rooster was stunned. Su Yan floated in the void. He opened his golden heaven's eye and looked at the God Burial Mountain in the distance. Under Su Yan's gaze, the God Burial Mountain's passage became blurry, as if it would disappear at any moment. His mind was tense. If the entrance to the God Burial Mountain really disappeared, it would be much more difficult to find it. Su Yan had always been thinking about the 6 supreme treasures above. There were even some shocking secrets above the God Burial Mountain. Su Yan wanted to go in and investigate. He was silent for a moment and then made a decision. "Wait for me here. I will go to the God Burial Mountain. If I can find something, it won't be difficult to completely conquer the sealed heaven region." It would be very difficult to conquer the sealed heaven region, a life-forbidden zone. It would be impossible to swallow it all in one go. He estimated that the guardian of the sealed heaven region should be returning soon. Moreover, Su Yan had attacked the ancestral region and caused such a huge commotion. The sealed heaven region would be on high alert soon. However, if Su Yan had the 6 supreme treasures, even if there were restrictions in the sealed heaven region, Su Yan was confident that he could escape unscathed. What Su Yan wanted to know the most was the purpose of the 9 great celestial mountains. "Alright, then you have to be quick." Tai Rooster nodded. He was here to protect Su Yan. Because Su Yan had split off an origin body, his origin spirit left with the origin body. Although the universe's mystic realms had corresponding rules and orders, with Su Yan's battle strength, he could collide with the entire Chaos Divine Mountain. However, the commotion would be too great. The gains would not make up for the losses. Because his origin spirit had entered a sealed state, his origin spirit directly rushed into the 10th Chaos Divine Mountain. As expected, the entrance is about to disappear. If I don't go in to investigate, I don't know how many years it will be before the God Burial opens again. Su Yan's origin spirit entered and returned to the world of the God Burial Mountain. His origin spirit held the Celestial Emperor's war flag and the immortal binding rope. This was to prevent any accidents on the way. He quickly approached the God Burial Mountain. What Su Yen did not know was that the Chaos Ruins were now in chaos. Big news! The protector of the sealed heaven domain has returned. What? Back so soon? Has he already destroyed the buried heaven domain? The news spread like wildfire, attracting the attention of the orthodoxies in the Chaos Ruins. What happened next was not beyond their expectations. The protector of the sealed heaven domain was furious and attacked. The first boss of the new era was chased to the ends of the earth. He destroyed more than a dozen resource mystic realms in the sealed heaven domain, causing the protector of the sealed heaven domain to release a terrifying murderous intent. He was already angry after the battle in the Milky Way. Now that he saw their resource mystic realms being massacred, he was furious. A powerful being dared to go against the sealed heaven domain. The first boss of the new era even called Su Yen his junior. This made the protector of the sealed heaven domain roar. He could not kill Su Yen, but could he not kill a powerful being like Kong Bo? F***ck, old man, are you crazy? I just killed a few people. Do you have to go this far? Kong Bo screamed. He could not imagine that the protector of the sealed heaven domain would suddenly return and chase him all over the world. However, Kong Bo was the first boss of the new era. His battle strength was tyrannical, much more tyrannical than those powerful beings who had been famous for thousands of years. He rushed to the immortal graveyard and hid everywhere. Junior brother, I've been screwed over by you this time. A powerful being wants to kill me. I can't hold on for too long. But if I die, who will burn paper money to collect my corpse? Fortunately, I burned so many beauties for you. You have to share some with me on the road to the Yellow Springs. You can't be so selfish. Divine King Kong Bo was being chased until he was wailing like a ghost. He was miserable beyond words. Being targeted by a supreme powerhouse was simply a nightmare. Moreover, this supreme powerhouse had the Feng Tian diagram. Kong Bo truly felt that he was at the end of his rope. You can't escape. Even if I cut you alive, it'll be hard to avenge this humiliation. A cold, murderous aura swept through the immortal graveyard. A powerful being had gone crazy and brought out the sealed heaven domain to chase after Kong Bo. After this boss goes crazy, I'm afraid he'll die without a burial place. Many people were dumbfounded. Who could protect him? Although Almighty Kong Bo was an expert of the Dao Hall, the Dao Hall wouldn't necessarily interfere. After all, Kong Bo was the one who had attacked first. Now, the Dao protectors of the sealed heaven region wanted nothing more than to cut Kong Bo into pieces. As for the God Burial Mountain, Su Yen was already close to it. However, when he approached the mountain, Su Yen found that it was different from before. Chaos Immortal Mountain? Su Yen clenched his fist. The entire mountain became very thick and unapproachable. Under Su Yan's gaze, he vaguely found that the Chaos Immortal Mountain seemed to have changed. It seemed to have turned into a giant hand, a mountain with 5 fingers. The blurry Chaos hand seemed to suppress the 9 heavens and 10 earths, emitting an extremely heavy aura. The Chaos Immortal Mountain is now in a state of awakening. Su Yen was surprised. What happened to make the Chaos Immortal Mountain in a state of awakening? He could capture the ancient and vast divine energy flowing in the Chaos Immortal Mountain, sealing the sky and the earth. When Su Yen looked at the peak of the Chaos Immortal Mountain, he was a little dazed. Because at the peak of the Immortal Mountain, he saw a figure standing tall. When Su Yen looked at it, it was as if he was staring into the abyss, the immortal dome of the great Tao that was indestructible. It made his eyes hurt, and even his powerful primordial spirit could not bear this supreme figure. Su Yen sucked in a cold breath. This figure was too strong. Even his primordial spirit could not remember the full appearance of this figure. This was not blasphemous. There wasn't before. Why is there now? Su Yen muttered to himself. The figure standing at the peak was too mysterious. There were deep fluctuations of time, as if it had existed for billions of years. Boom! Suddenly, the Celestial Emperor's war flag shone on its own, surging with resplendent light. The flag fluttered, and energy ripples rushed to the peak of the Chaos Immortal Mountain. He's alive! Su Yen turned pale. With the awakening of the Celestial Emperor's war flag, the supreme figure revived. It was very terrifying and inconceivable. A terrifying aura awakened, crossing the prehistoric era and descending into this era of the universe. Su Yen trembled. The figure revived, and he could see some of its spiritual appearance clearly. It was like a great emperor who ruled the heavens, swallowing the river of time. This aura really shook the past, present, and future. It came from afar and rushed towards Su Yen. Chapter 1271. Su Yen knew that something big was about to happen when the Celestial Emperor's war banner awakened and revived on its own. This banner wouldn't revive unless it was at a special juncture. Since it was reviving on its own, it meant that it was related to the Celestial Court and the Chaos Immortal Mountain. This thing was indeed a product of the Celestial Court era. Who knew what it was guarding here? But what made Su Yen lose his composure was that the figure at the peak of the Chaos Immortal Mountain was revived. It was revived in Su Yan's spiritual world because of the Celestial Emperor's war banner's influence. It was a temporary revival. Boom! In an instant the world changed. It was as if time was flowing in reverse. The entire space-time had undergone an earth-shattering transformation. Even the entire Chaos Immortal Mountain was resplendent to the extreme. It was so majestic that it covered the heavens. It was densely covered with billions of golden immortal marks, and it was filled with an indescribable emperor's might. Is this an emperor weapon? Su Yen was horrified. What level of treasure was the 9 great immortal mountains? Why did the Chaos Immortal Mountain have a vague emperor's might? It was as if it had existed for too long and its energy was about to be exhausted. But it was still terrifying. It floated between heaven and earth like a palm that descended from the heavens, suppressing the 9 heavens and 10 earths. Even the revival of the Chaos Immortal Mountain was related to the figure at the peak. That figure was erupting, swallowing the river of time, overlooking one universe epoch after another. It could defeat the strongest of any era. Su Yen couldn't help but tremble because it was too powerful. It was so majestic that it was difficult to fathom. It could easily collapse a universe epoch, as if it was the ruler of the entire universe. What is this? Su Yen saw some scenes. That terrifying figure seemed to be fighting with someone. This was a different kind of encounter, a scene separated by endless years. It was horrifying. The era he was in was a different space-time. Blood dyed the heavens, gods and ghosts trembled. A terrifying might surged out continuously. Su Yan's primordial spirit couldn't bear it because he couldn't see everything. He could only see a vague corner. Su Yen even realized that this figure was becoming more and more terrifying and invincible. Could it be that this was the history of his growth that had been left behind for some special reason and was now manifesting into his glorious and legendary story? The irregular scenes between heaven and earth were world-shocking. Giants covered the sky and withered away. In the space died in blood one after another. He was still unmatched, slaughtering too many exceptional experts. In the end, he suppressed everything, reigning supreme over the entire world. His emperor's might was vast and mighty, shaking the 9 heavens and 10 earths. The cosmos he resided in was glorious because of this, piercing through the heavens, illuminating the endless darkness. Meanwhile, that person towered at the center, becoming one with the cosmos, worshipped by trillions of creatures. He stood at the peak of all living beings, overlooking the past, present, and future. Just how terrifying of an irregular scene was this? It was worshipped by the creatures of an entire cosmos, establishing a flourishing age, overlooking all things in this world. Su Yen found it hard to calm down. Was this the history of a person's growth? Was this the experience of the prehistoric celestial court? But when he stood at the top, Su Yen felt a sense of familiarity. Could it be him? Su Yen was astonished. He recalled the scene in the depths of his memories where he had once spied on him. A powerhouse wielding a giant axe slaughtered all the giants in the sky. All kinds of terrifying blood dyed the entire cosmos red. It was as if this person matched the shadow in the depths of Su Yan's memories. When the Celestial Emperor's banner in Su Yan's hand was still shaking, dancing, and even emitting special emotional fluctuations, Su Yan understood at this moment. Perhaps he was the founder of the Celestial Court, the Celestial Emperor. The Celestial Emperor. Su Yan was overwhelmed with emotions. Was this the history of the Xianhuang Cosmos' strongest powerhouse? Was it because of him that the cosmos was so glorious? How could such a strong person fall? Su Yan didn't dare believe it. Could it be that the 9 great immortal mountains were created by the Celestial Emperor? But what was the purpose of their existence? Boom! Suddenly the world changed. The extremely sacred cosmos was shrouded in darkness in an instant. It blotted out the sky and covered the sun. One couldn't even see one's own fingers. The entire cosmos seemed to be heading towards death. It was completely eroded by the darkness. The figure that blended with the cosmos was also swallowed up by the darkness in a short period of time. It seemed that everything was heading towards the end. Darkness blots out the sun. Su Yen felt a headache coming on. Everything was corroborating each other. When the darkness struck, the cosmos collapsed, and the people were in a terrible situation. This was a disaster of the cosmos. The environment of the prehistoric world suffered a terrible blow. Once, during the most glorious era of the cosmos, there was an era of darkness blotting out the sun. The cosmos also declined because of the invasion of darkness. Then, foreign domains invaded, and the Xianhuang cosmos had no choice but to be sealed. This was the current era, an era where the taboos didn't appear and powerful beings ran rampant. As one of the universe's supreme masters, Su Yen deeply felt the extent of the terror of the darkness. When the darkness swept over again, who would be able to defend against it? Pung! Soon, the visions all over the world dispersed. The Celestial Emperor's battle banner stopped shaking and returned to calmness. Su Yen wanted to activate the Celestial Emperor's battle banner to see more images, but he realized that his own energy was still sinking into the sea. He couldn't activate the Celestial Emperor's battle banner. This puzzled Su Yen. He was strong enough to be ranked as the universe's supreme master, but why was it that his Celestial Emperor's battle banner still couldn't activate the corresponding power? Was it because of his own limited power, or was there some other special reason? Su Yen frowned and pondered. He wanted to know. After all, this person had a lot to do with his background. Su Yen also wanted to know what was the reason that the darkness was being resisted. After all, the darkness had swept over again a few years ago, so this day would come sooner or later. If this day really came, who could resist the darkness? Would the Xianhuang cosmos be completely destroyed? The greatest calamity of the cosmos isn't the taboos or the strong enemies from other domains. It's the darkness, the demon fog. Su Yen clenched his fist. A mysterious power, the Yin-Yang Road, was very likely to have a great connection with the darkness. If he could investigate the Yin-Yang Road, he could most likely find out about the source of the darkness. If this day comes again, what can we use to resist it? Su Yen found it hard to calm down. This shouldn't be his concern, but now that he had become a supreme master of the universe and even received the baptism of the Xianhuang origin, he didn't want to see the future of the universe become a dead universe. This day was very close to Su Yen, very close. But what exactly was the darkness? Su Yen still didn't know. But when he looked at the Chaos Immortal Mountain again, he realized that the entire mountain had turned black, and it looked eerie. This seemed to be limitless purgatory. There was a faint special energy that could devour one's marrow, and it was about to burst out from the chaos immortal mountain. Could it be that the darkness has been suppressed by the 9 great immortal mountains? Su Yan's complexion changed. This possibility was too great. The 9 great immortal mountains originated from the era of the Celestial Court. It was very likely that they were refined by the Celestial Emperor of the Celestial Court. These 9 great immortal mountains suppressed the source of the darkness, allowing the cosmos to emerge from the dark era and see the light. But the darkness hadn't dispersed. It was still there. Once the 9 great immortal mountains' power was exhausted, the darkness would once again envelop the entire cosmos. What is the darkness? Conquering the cosmos? Or is it a mortal enemy of the Celestial Court? Su Yan murmured. In a distant era, the Celestial Court's trillions of troops had left their homeland and slaughtered their way to a mysterious area. This was greatly related to Su Yan. Unfortunately, the memories were vague and it was difficult for him to see everything. He could only personally leave the cosmos and go to the area of the past to take a look. Perhaps he could find all the answers, but there was no doubt that the darkness had invaded when the Celestial Court was weak, strong on the outside but weak on the inside. This was the reason why the Xianhuang cosmos suffered a calamity. But in a distant era, what had the Celestial Court encountered? Why did it not return? Let's go up and take a look. At this time, Su Yan raised his head and looked at the peak of the Chaos Immortal Mountain. That figure was still there. He climbed the Chaos Immortal Mountain. Every step he took was filled with trepidation. He felt that the Chaos Immortal Mountain would explode and collapse at any time. Back then, the darkness had shrouded the world. It must have been the 9 great immortal mountains suppressing the source of the darkness. But the 9 great immortal mountains had suppressed the source of the darkness for a long time. Once the 9 great immortal mountains collapsed, the darkness would surge again. Su Yan was alarmed. Soon, he arrived at the peak. The scene here was somewhat unfamiliar. It was different from the first time Su Yan came here. His eyes were focused on a figure. To be precise, it was an ancient stone statue that had existed for a long time. He did not know how many years it had existed. Its body was covered in dust and looked very heavy. He stood on the Chaos Immortal Mountain. Was this his celestial arch? Was this his stone statue? He allowed time to pass. The era had fallen, but the stone statue was still there. Although it was covered in dust, it still stood high on the peak of the Chaos Immortal Mountain. Su Yan seemed to see prehistory. The experts of the Celestial Court had cast a stone statue and the kings in the sky worshipped it. This stone statue not only represented the glory of the Celestial Court, but it also contained many of its legends. Su Yan looked at it. He had encountered it before. However, the 6 stone men around the stone statue had disappeared. Had they exhausted their divine power in the process of resisting the darkness? Vaguely, Su Yan noticed that there were treasures floating around the ancient stone statue. There were whips, decrees, halberds, cauldrons, seals, ancient bells, 6 treasures, emitting the aura of time. These were 6 ancient objects floating around the stone statue. Were these the treasures of the Celestial Court? After so many years, how much power did they still have? Did they stay here to protect the Chaos Immortal Mountain? Or to protect the stone statue and its former glory? Su Yan's thoughts were complicated. The 9 immortal mountains were very likely the treasures that suppressed the darkness. However, he felt that the Chaos Immortal Mountain was about to collapse. This meant that the other immortal mountains might also be exhausted. No one can escape the changes in the future. Su Yan took a deep breath. He went down the mountain and did not touch the 6 ancient objects. He could not act rashly here. Otherwise, the darkness might erupt prematurely. He left God Burial Mountain and went down the mountain step by step. Su Yan's back was a little tall. He held the Celestial Arch battle flag tightly. The flag in his hand was also a symbol of glory. If that day comes, I will represent the celestial court and fight the darkness. Su Yen roared in his heart. He felt that the flag in his hand was especially heavy. Su Yen vaguely wanted to merge with the celestial arch battle flag to comprehend the meaning of its existence. Su Yen returned to the outside world. His eyes were filled with a murderous aura. If he did not deal with the tribes in the sealed heaven region, he had no intention of going into seclusion. He did not settle the internal affairs first. Let's go. The silent battle blood surged. The miser understood Su Yan's intention. He spread his wings, crossed the passage of the Chaos Immortal Mountain, and rushed into the Chaos Ruins. Chapter 1272. This world is deteriorating too quickly. It's even more shocking than the Outerverse. Although only 1 or 2 years had passed in the Chaos Ruins, Su Yen was able to grasp the extent of the world's aging. It was reasonable to say that the Chaos Ruins environment was much stronger than the Outerverse. It was also a paradise for powerhouses to explore, as there were many precious resources nurtured by the universe. The chaos energy in the various regions was also extremely dense. However, the current Chaos Ruins decline was especially severe. Many pure cultivation lands had been reduced to wastelands, and the world's chaos energy was rapidly drying up. Su Yen was astonished. The universe was about to enter a degenerate era, and it would be difficult to cultivate. What exactly do we have to go through to return to the prehistoric world from the universe? Su Yen wondered. The world did not know that although the buried realm had sealed the universe's environment in the distant past, how had they done so? The powerhouses of the various tribes did not know, so what special conditions would be required for the universe's environment to return to normal? I hope that this day will come again 10,000 years later, Miser said. Indeed, 99% of the tribes did not wish for this day to come too early. After all, the universe's environment was unsealed, which meant that the taboo would run amok. When that day came, the universe's overall structure would undergo an irreversible reversal. Su Yen also did not wish for the universe's environment to return too early, but who could resist such a huge change? Who could stop the flow of history? Let's hope so. Su Yan's eyes lit up as he sat cross-legged on Miser's back and looked at the ancient Chaos Ruins. Buzz. Miser's enormous figure streaked across the sky as he quickly rushed towards the sealed heaven realm. Along the way, Su Yen felt that something was off. The various regions were bustling with activity, and many veteran powerhouses had come out of seclusion and were all heading in the same direction. These people were leaving in a hurry as if they were rushing to a venue. What had happened? Stop right there. When Miser's figure swooped down slightly, the group of experts who were traversing the world ahead were shocked. They all turned their heads and saw a colossal figure in the outer space, which was difficult to look up at, asking a question. The group of heroes lost control and were stunned. Cold sweat broke out on their backs. This was definitely a giant, and it was difficult to estimate how strong he was. What are you going to do? Tai Gongji's confusion made the group of old experts feel relieved. One of them calmed down and said, "Senior, we want to go to the immortal graveyard and see if the first boss of the new era can escape the pursuit of the Almighty of the sealed heaven region." The first boss of the new era? Su Yen was confused. Who was this person? He really didn't know. However, when he heard the name of the Feng Tian territory, his eyes turned cold. It seemed that the Feng Tian territory didn't know the result of the Milky Way war since they were still in the mood to hunt down other strong people. It's Master Kong Bo. Miser Rooster was very clear about this and asked curiously, Master Kong Bo is being hunted? He was a mighty figure from the Taoist temple. Had Feng Tianyu gone mad? Even the mighty figures of the Taoist church dared to hunt him down. Sir, you don't know. There's a reason for this. Another expert quickly added, Master Kong Bo's relationship with Su Yen is not a small matter. When the Burial Realm's tribes were in danger, Master Kong Bo personally massacred many resource lands in the sealed heaven domain to worship Su Yen. What? Su Yen was shocked. Was this old thing crazy? Did he want to die in the sealed heaven domain? However, Master Kong Bo's breakthrough was really surprising. Back then, he had received guidance from the prehistoric Big Brother and seized a great opportunity to break through to the realm of the mighty in the immortal graveyard. This was Master Kong Bo's opportunity. He had changed from a Taoist temple's steward to the first boss of the new era. This change in status made the old experts of the major tribes envious. Master Kong Bo's future was naturally limitless. However, Su Yen really didn't expect that Master Kong Bo would target the sealed heaven domain. He sighed in his heart. The protector of the sealed heaven domain suddenly returned to hunt down Master Kong Bo. Another person immediately said. They all rushed to take a look and understand the result of the Milky Way War. However, the four peak tribes didn't want to talk about this result. They couldn't afford to lose face. The protector of the sealed heaven domain, he still has the guts to stay outside. Su Yan's eyes shot out cold lightning. His whole body involuntarily surged with killing intent, causing the space and time to tremble. The group of experts who rushed to join in the fun were all shocked. The killing intent leaking out of Su Yan's body was unbearable. At the same time, they were alarmed. What did he mean by that? Bang! The miser broke through the air and rushed toward the immortal graveyard. I hope this old guy can withstand it. Su Yen was also anxious. Although King Kongpo was a new era mighty, he was facing a supreme expert who wielded the sealed heaven diagram. The slightest carelessness would cause him to be killed in the immortal graveyard. The two experts disappeared from this place, and immediately after, a great storm arose. This was a supreme expert's aura leaking out, causing an uproar among the crowd. The experts felt that the immortal graveyard was about to change. A supreme expert swooped down, his terrifying aura passing through and suppressing one life domain after another. This was a supreme expert rushing toward the immortal graveyard. The immortal graveyard was now a place where the experts of the cultivation world gathered. There were a few hundred supreme experts exploring the immortal graveyard and digging for treasures. Ever since Count Kong escaped into the immortal graveyard, the entire place was in chaos. The major regions could not remain calm. After all, a supreme expert wielding a supreme treasure was rushing toward the immortal graveyard. This matter attracted the attention of all the major races. In fact, what they wanted to know the most was the survival of the races in the graveyard. Is the battle in the Milky Way galaxy over? I think something is wrong. The protector of the sealed heaven realm is too murderous. Although the first leader of the new era was crazy enough to overturn more than a dozen resource secret realms of the clan, the anger of this supreme being is too shocking. Let's wait and see. I have a bad feeling. The experts of various sects rushed over to watch the battle. Count Kong had nowhere to run and finally rushed toward the primal chaos Dao field. He relied on the special structure of the primal chaos Dao field to temporarily save his life. Count Kong coughed out blood. His hair was disheveled, and his neat golden battle robe was torn. He looked particularly miserable. He no longer looked as majestic as before. Bastard, come out and die. The Dao protector of the sealed heaven domain had a ferocious expression. He had escaped from the Milky Way galaxy and was already in a terrible mood. However, as soon as he arrived at the primal chaos ruins, he heard that King Kongpa had massacred their resource lands and even worshipped Su Yen. If Su Yen had died, he would not have been so angry. However, Su Yen was still alive and well. Count Kang's actions angered the Dao protector of the sealed heaven domain. He stared at Count Kong with a pair of fierce eyes and shouted angrily, "Come out and die!" The anger of a supreme expert caused gods to cry and ghosts to weep. This was a scene that shook the heavens and earth. The sun and moon lost their light. The huge primal chaos Dao field was shaking under the pressure of the supreme expert's aura. The chaos was collapsing, and a huge black crack had already appeared. It was full of destruction. What a vulgar old thing! Count Kong also risked his life and shouted angrily, "You're too rude. I'm a supreme expert. Even my master is Big Brother Taboo. I'm afraid you'll piss your pants if I tell you." Bastard! The Tao Protector of the sealed heaven domain let out a furious roar. Golden ripples appeared on his mouth and nose as he rushed forward. Boom! The vast chaos collapsed and a cold murderous intent surged. It penetrated the primal chaos Tao field and suppressed Count Kong. However, the primal chaos Tao field's layout was not simple. It blocked the destructive suppression of the supreme expert. "Come out and die." He suddenly threw out a huge hand and pressed it towards the primal chaos Tao field. This palm contained endless anger and shattered layers of chaos Tao field as it pressed towards Count Kong. "Old thing, listen carefully. If all of us die in battle, Big Brother Taboo will definitely destroy the entire sealed heaven domain." Count Kong roared angrily. "We'll wait for you on the road to the underworld. When the time comes, we'll join forces and beat the crap out of you." Arg! The Tao Protector of the sealed heaven domain was furious. He had already lost to Su Yen, and now he was being scolded. He was so angry that smoke was coming out of his 7 orifices. The onlookers were dumbfounded. Their first boss had really gone crazy. However, he knew that he would not be able to live, so he might as well curse to his heart's content. Bam! The Supreme Expert's palm finally began to strike. The primal chaos Tao field collapsed into a huge hole. The terrifying energy swept towards Count Kong. The severely injured Count Kong could not resist and was pressed to the ground. "Curse again if you dare." The Tao Protector of the sealed heaven domain sneered. "You son of a b***tch." Count Kong supported himself with both hands. His old face was filled with ferocity as he tried to get up. However, the palm of the Tao Protector of the sealed heaven domain pressed down again. King Kongpa was beaten to the ground again, coughing up blood. "Curse again." Supreme Pinnacle growled, "I want to see how hard your bones are. After massacring so many resource mystic realms, I'm satisfied." Count Kong roared. His eyes were blood-red. He was very manly. He was angry and roaring in his heart. He wanted to get up. When he raised his head and saw the scene in the distant world, he laughed angrily. "Actually, I'm not hard enough, but my junior brother is harder than me. Die." The Tao Protector of the sealed heaven domain was completely furious. He raised his hand and wanted to slap Count Kong to death. The gigantic palm of a supreme mighty figure came crashing down again, accompanied by an appalling storm of fury. The entire chaotic Tao field trembled involuntarily. How could Count Kong, who was suppressed on the ground, resist this attack? However, in the distant era, wisps of terrifying space-time pressure swept over and surged towards the Tao Protector of the sealed heaven domain. The world in the distance exploded. A figure jumped out of the entrance of the immortal graveyard like a human emperor looking down on all living things. He stood in an extremely distant area. The giant golden hand instantly rose into the sky. The giant golden hand crossed space and time, covering the entire world. The giant fingers were like pillars supporting the sky. This was the universe in the palm, the mountain of 5 fingers. The heroes trembled. Even the divine king could not hold on and coughed up blood. A hand descended from the sky, covering the starry sky. It was boundless. It descended from the sky and suppressed the Tao Protector of the sealed heaven domain. Today is the beginning of the month. Brothers, please give me some monthly votes. Chapter 1273. Who's taking action? What powerful strength! The aura seems somewhat familiar. The crowd of outstanding heroes turned pale. Many divine king experts were shaken from the depths of their souls. They felt as if their souls were being suppressed, and they found it difficult to move. A seemingly familiar person returned and stood at the entrance of the immortal graveyard. He erupted in an instant. Endless amounts of essence blood surged out, accompanied by the rumbling sound of the great Tao. It drowned out the long river of time and space as it moved forward. That person attacked from a great distance. His tyrannical hand blotted out the sky and filled the entire starry sky. The moment it descended from the sky, millions of creatures trembled as if they were about to explode. The almighty experts were all stunned. What kind of heaven-defying magic power was this? It pierced through time and space and attacked from such a great distance, yet it could still produce such a world-shaking effect. The entire primal chaos Tao field was covered by his giant palm. To the experts watching from afar, this palm was extremely majestic. They couldn't see the end of it, and the might of the great Tao that existed within it was unfathomable. It was as if the great Tao abyss had descended from the heavens and was enough to obliterate everything. It struck down just like that, suppressing the Tao protector of the sealed heaven region so much that his aura became somewhat dim. A peerless, almighty expert. The shocking scene made people seriously suspect that a peerless expert from the Tao Temple had come. However, this race had never participated in the disputes of the outside world. Why would the Tao Temple take action? But if it wasn't them, then who could it be? It's you. The Tao Protector's expression was distorted. He hadn't expected Su Yen to arrive so quickly. However, Count Kong was about to be killed by him. How could he stop now? Dong. He suddenly raised his hand and struck out at the giant palm descending from the heavens. After all, they were so far away. The protector of the sealed heaven region did not think that Su Yen would be able to unleash much of his divine might. The moment the two large hands collided, the entire world was destroyed. It was difficult to count the number of large cracks that appeared. You can't stop me. I'm going to kill him. The Tao protector of the sealed heaven region laughed sinisterly. He had successfully blocked Su Yan's attack. His palm also descended and pressed down furiously towards Count Kong. Boom. However, this vast world seemed to have been revived from a deep slumber. A sea of life surged forth. Territories rose and fell, and the heavens shook. Between the heavens and the earth, a grand momentum of the heavens and the earth was born. It was like a giant furnace was rotating, and it was filled with the power to change the heavens and the earth. Mystic Gate Secret Technique. All the experts turned pale. This was definitely a grandmaster at the pinnacle of the mystical gate. Compared to the methods of the Han family's ancestor, his methods were much more astonishing. The power of heaven and earth was fusing together, evolving into an all-encompassing layout. His methods were all about to rewrite the laws and order of the universe. Who is he? Why does he seem so familiar? Everyone felt that this was hard to believe. The silhouette in the distance was erupting with power, truly terrifying to the extreme. This battle stance, this shocking aura, all the mighty figures in the world who were paying attention felt a sense of déjà vu, but they could not recall where they had seen it before. Now, this person was trying his best to revive. His roar shook the mountains and rivers, and his entire body surged with the flames of battle. His battle prowess also rose by a large margin. Boom! Endless power of the heavens and earth surged furiously, wave after wave. It was like billions of tsunamis were rumbling, echoing throughout the entire immortal graveyard. All the experts were stirred. Who exactly was this person? He was actually so terrifying and ferocious. One had to know that he was facing a supreme expert. Could this person be an unrivaled supreme expert? When these energy sources surged over, even the Tao protector of the sealed heaven region was obstructed. He had no choice but to divide his hands and feet to contend against the power of the heavens and earth. However, the instant he came into contact with it, the Tao protector of the sealed heaven region was horrified. It was as if he was contending against the entire universe, encountering a terrifying suppression. It was as if he was carrying an ancient dragon on his back, about to be directly suppressed by the domineering aura. Not good. The Tao Protector of the sealed heaven region had an ugly expression. This was the power of the mystical gate. Su Yen had definitely obtained the Han family's heavenly scripture, pushing his attainments in the mystical gate to the pinnacle. Even a supreme expert would encounter an extremely powerful suppression. Su Yen was actually more powerful than a few days ago. This caused the Tao Protector of the sealed heaven region to be terrified. He no longer cared about killing Kong Bo and immediately struck out with the sealed heaven diagram. The supreme treasure revived, and with a rumble, it shook open the domain layout that filled the sky. This diagram interweaved with endless immortal light, grand and boundless. Moreover, the entire diagram also flipped over, starting to attack Su Yen fiercely. Boom! In that instant, the heavens collapsed, smashed apart by a golden rope. Immortal binding rope, the heroes subconsciously exclaimed, and goosebumps rose all over their bodies. What was going on? The immortal binding rope of the Dark Underworld clan had erupted. The rope struck horizontally and solidly smashed onto the sealed heaven diagram. The diagram wailed, and its radiance was somewhat dim. It was constantly swaying under the immortal binding rope's attack. Bastard! The Tao Protector of the sealed heaven region was about to go crazy with anger. The immortal binding rope of the Dark Underworld clan had actually fallen into the hands of Su Yen. Su Yen had become an 8th grade Great Grandmaster and obtained the immortal binding rope. It was simply adding wings to a tiger. Now in the entire flourishing age world, was there any supreme expert who could stop Su Yen? Give me your life! Su Yen rushed over, his black hair fluttering in the wind as he waved the immortal binding rope. He wanted to suppress the Tao Protector of the sealed heaven region in one fell swoop. Of course, what Su Yen really cared about was the supreme treasure of the sealed heaven diagram. Bastard! The Tao Protector of the sealed heaven region was furious. He hurriedly recalled the sealed heaven diagram and merged with the diagram. He fiercely split the space and time and flew away. Su Yen brandished the immortal binding rope and smashed it at the space-time path that the Tao Protector of the sealed heaven region had used to escape. This rope was too astonishing. Its power distorted space-time and caused it to collapse. It could easily shatter space-time within 5,000 kilometers. However, the sealed heaven diagram was also very fast. It wrapped around the Tao Protector and began to flee. It was better to stand at the entrance of the immortal graveyard and block this old thing. Iron Rooster said, as long as we can kill him and obtain the sealed heaven diagram, the sealed heaven region will lose its proud foundation. As long as there is no taboo, it will be defeated sooner or later. Hearing this, although Su Yen wanted to do so, the loss of standing at the entrance of the immortal graveyard was too great. After all, it was too far away. Moreover, the most important thing was that once the Tao Protector of the sealed heaven region was driven mad, Almighty Kong Bo's life would be difficult to protect. After weighing the pros and cons, Su Yen could only rush over and scare off the Tao Protector. Chase! Su Yen coldly shouted. He would not let this person go. Iron Rooster carried Su Yen and madly flew in pursuit of the fleeing Tao Protector of the sealed heaven region. Who exactly is it that scared off a supreme expert? Which one is the Tao Protector of the sealed heaven region? The other is holding the immortal binding rope. Could it be an expert of the Dark Underworld race? The entire immortal graveyard was in an uproar. They originally thought they would see the scene of Almighty Kong Bo being killed. In the end, the situation changed somewhat frighteningly. A supreme expert was scared off and did not dare to continue fighting. This made them all incredulous. A supreme expert did not dare to fight. Heavens, he's chasing. What kind of enmity does the Dark Underworld race have with the sealed heaven region? The outstanding heroes all turned pale. The situation had exceeded their expectations. Iron Rooster carried Su Yen across the sky. However, this scene was becoming more and more familiar. In particular, this silver creature also seemed familiar. They should have met before. Junior brother, wait for me, wait for me. Iron Rooster crawled up in a flash. He did not even pay attention to his own injuries and rushed forward. His eyes were full of ruthlessness. Just now, he was almost beaten to death by a supreme expert. How could he swallow this resentment? Since Su Yen had come and was even still alive, then the problem was serious. What is he saying? The entire immortal graveyard seemed to be surging with a world-shaking storm. The old antiques of the great sects were all dumbstruck. Now that they recalled the previously unrivaled Su Yen in the immortal graveyard, they were all incomparably shocked. Back then in the Tao Palace, Su Yen was ambushed by the sixth child of the primal chaos and his primordial spirit lamp was extinguished. Didn't he pass away in the Tao Palace? Could it be that he had endured and survived? Inconceivable, he is still alive. The myriad sects were in an uproar. The old antiques of the various clans were all incomparably shocked. Many people also chased after him. Something big was about to happen. Su Xianren was still alive and was now wielding the immortal binding rope to chase down a supreme expert from the sealed heaven region. Since Su Yen was wielding the immortal binding rope, then the problem was even more serious. Could it be that the four peak clans had suffered a crushing defeat? Even a supreme expert had fallen on the battlefield? Quickly inform the clan master that Su Xianren is still alive. Many experts from the various clans were almost scared out of their wits, especially the old monsters from the Ma and He families. They seemed to have lost their minds. What if that person was really Su Xianren? Something big was about to happen. Back then, he had many enemies. Now that he wielded the immortal binding rope, he was able to force a supreme expert to flee in defeat. This problem was cruel. In the coming years there might be bloodshed. At the entrance of the immortal graveyard, a group of experts who had rushed over to watch the battle turned pale with fright. This bitter killing intent surged out. A supreme expert was fleeing for his life. Meanwhile, Su Yen was in hot pursuit, brandishing the immortal binding rope. He was chasing after a supreme expert from the sealed heaven region. What kind of situation is this? Who is chasing after a supreme expert? The vast region was in an uproar. This matter was too outrageous. The supreme expert who was chasing after Uncle Kong was now fleeing for his life. It was to the extent that the situation was reversed. An unrivaled supreme expert was chasing after the Tao Protector, stirring up an even more terrifying storm along the way. Inconceivable. A Tao Protector who wields a supreme treasure. Who in the same generation could do anything to him? But now, he is fleeing for his life. This scene shocked the entire world. A supreme expert who wielded the sealed heaven diagram was being chased to the point of fleeing for his life? All the experts began to doubt their lives. What was going on? You can't escape. Su Yan's head of long hair danced in the wind. He was majestic and imposing. His golden pupils locked onto the Tao Protector of the sealed heaven region. He chased after the Tao Protector, crossing millions and millions of li of territory. Because of this, a terrifying storm erupted in the primal chaos ruins. Meanwhile, the news of Su Yan's revival was like a boundless tsunami, sweeping over with grandeur. It's definitely him. This was especially true in the Tao Palace. Kong Xian and the others all sucked in a cold breath. They definitely didn't expect Su Yen to have such accomplishments. During the Battle of the Immortal Graveyard, Su Yen was the unrivaled divine king. Now, Su Yen could already be considered an unrivaled supreme expert. When Su Yen died in the Tao Palace, they had always kept this a secret for the sealed heaven region, never leaking it to the outside world. Now, the extinguished legend was once again ignited, blazing to the extreme. All the supreme experts in the world could clearly see that a terrifying leader was chasing after the Tao Protector of the sealed heaven diagram. He had killed his way all the way to the ancestral land of the sealed heaven region. Chapter 1274. He's finally standing up. A woman in a sky-blue dress stood at the top of the mountain and looked into the distance. She saw the person she had been thinking about all this time. He stood up once again, and with a peerless attitude, he was aiming for the top of the world. Liang Yan smiled, feeling that the world was particularly exciting. He's so strong now. Kong Xian, you can't beat him. Vice President Shang Li also laughed. Su Yan was now strong enough to be ranked among the strongest in the world. If it weren't for her 9 transformation soul rejuvenation pill, Su Yan wouldn't be able to stand up. If it weren't for this pill, Su Yan wouldn't be the same person as before. Kong Xian touched his big bald head and then said in a low voice, "All this time, Sister Fairy has been waiting for an expert who could walk out of the Hell Hall. Now he's here, and he's even aiming for the top in the world." Vice President Jin Yu and the others had mixed feelings. This person had appeared, but he wasn't from the Taoist temple. However, they also laughed heartily. Then, their faces became serious as they looked at the purple bamboo forest. The purple bamboo forest was still in a sealed state. What happened to make the forbidden training ground suddenly seal itself? A Taoist temple taboo who broke through in the current environment of the universe was peerless and tyrannical. What happened to make the Taoist temple taboo seal itself? They felt that something must have gone wrong, but they couldn't help with the forbidden training ground. Boom! In the distant world, the divine light was boundless and dazzling. Su Yan wielded a golden rope that was as thick as a true golden dragon as he continued to attack the fleeing Tao protectors of the sealed heaven region. "I hate it!" The guardians of the sealed heaven region let out a shrill cry. Why didn't they end Su Yan earlier? They had too many opportunities to kill Su Yan in the past, but they missed all of them. It was too late for regrets now. Su Yan was already strong enough to be called an invincible almighty. Moreover, his growth history was too fast. He wanted to be ranked among the strongest in the world, was an 8th grade great grandmaster, and even had the supreme treasure, the immortal binding rope. In the entire world, among all the orthodoxies, were there any almighty beings who could fight against Su Yan? In the Battle of the Milky Way, Su Yan had defeated the Emperor. Even the guardians of the Fengtian domain had lost the will to fight against Su Yan, let alone the current Su Yan, who was standing at an extremely terrifying height and was qualified to look down on him. Although the golden immortal binding rope was not an offensive weapon, it was still a forbidden cardinal treasure. Once it was revived, the immortal light surged, and the rope was filled with destructive power. It immediately bombarded the Fengtian diagram. The number 1 treasure of the sealed heaven domain, the sealed heaven diagram, had been passed down for a long time. Unfortunately, it was slapped by the prehistoric Big Brother and its power was greatly reduced. Although the current Fengtian diagram was strong enough, it was difficult for it to compete with the immortal binding rope. The continuous attacks caused the Fengtian diagram to tremble non-stop. This diagram was about to be crushed by the immortal binding rope. "No matter where you go, you won't be able to escape death." Su Yan let out a loud roar. His eyes flashed with lightning, and his body was boiling with vitality. His big hand held the immortal binding rope tightly. Time and time again, the entire universe seemed to be boiling. The guardians of the sealed heaven domain kept coughing up blood. Although they had a cardinal treasure to protect them, the power of the immortal binding rope continued to seep out, and his vitality was greatly damaged. The terrifying pursuit attracted the attention of all the experts in the world. The battle had even spread to the territory under the jurisdiction of the sealed heaven domain. This vast territory was in turmoil, and countless creatures fled in panic, fearing that they would be affected by the energy ripples. Who the hell is chasing after the guardians of my race, and even has the immortal binding rope? In the ancestral land of the sealed heaven domain, demons were dancing wildly, and killing intent filled the air. This ancient forbidden land surged with anger, but it was difficult to vent it. Even the guardians were chased to the ancestral land, which meant that the enemy was extraordinarily strong. If the sealed heaven domain was in its peak state, it would not be afraid of Su Yan at all. However, since the prehistoric Big Brother punched the sealed heaven domain, it had greatly damaged its foundation, not to mention the battle of the immortal graveyard and the Milky Way. The present sealed heaven domain's foundation was quite weak. Who the hell is it? He's almost in the ancestral land. What should we do? Even the Guardians can't stop him. Do we have any experts in our race who can stop him? Endless humiliation rose in the hearts of the group of sealed heaven realm's old ancestors. The high and mighty sealed heaven realm had fallen to such a state. They were being beaten to their doorstep, but it was extremely difficult for a Tao protector to come out from their ancestral land. Quickly open the foundation of my race. The guardian of the sealed heaven domain cried out miserably. He was really about to be beaten to death, being chased all the way from the immortal graveyard. The guardian's heart was full of pain and hatred. He had lost all face along the way, and the prestige of the Forbidden Land was completely gone. Even Su Yan had chased him all the way to the ancestral land. This was a great humiliation. However, this was not important. If he could not stop Su Yan, the entire sealed heaven domain would be uprooted by Su Yan. Boom! In a short period of time, the ancestral land of the sealed heaven domain shone. The moment the protective formation was activated, golden divine light surged out, spreading over millions of li. The entire sealed heaven domain was resplendent, and millions of great Tao symbols surged out, accompanied by the energy fluctuations of the sealed heaven decimating earth. It was as if a grand city was blooming. It was a terrifying scene. The entire sealed heaven domain was resplendent to the extreme, illuminating the starry sky of the universe. The races at the edge of the chaotic ruins all caught the energy fluctuations of the burning sealed heaven domain. A forbidden land had opened its protective formation. This was an incredible matter. What happened in the direction of the sealed heaven domain? They actually burned the foundation of their race. The experts in the distant areas were shocked. What happened in the chaotic ruins that forced the Forbidden Land to burn its foundation? The aura it emitted was truly terrifying, affecting the vast universe and causing it to change color. After all, the Forbidden Land used to be invincible under the heavens. Although its foundation was greatly damaged, it still had a corresponding trump card. Bang bang bang! However, the outside world was bloody and ferocious. The immortal binding rope once again smashed on the sealed heaven diagram, and the diagram's aura weakened. The Tao protector wrapped in the sealed heaven diagram screamed as his body was about to collapse. His strength was severely damaged, and it was difficult for him to maintain the operation of the sealed heaven diagram. You won't live! Su Yan roared, raised his fist, and smashed it on the sealed heaven diagram. Wah! The sealed heaven diagram's Tao protector howled in grief, and even the diagram was trembling. A dignified supreme expert was punched by Su Yan until his skin and flesh were lacerated, and his entire body was dyed red with blood. Tao protector! The group of old ancestors of the sealed heaven domain paled. The Tao protector was about to be beaten to death in front of his home. Su Yan did not give the Tao protector a chance to return to the clan at all. He fiercely attacked with one punch after another, hitting the Feng Tian diagram until it became dim and lusterless. The Tao protector of the clan was about to be completely destroyed by Su Yan. No! The Tao protector of the sealed heaven domain was on the verge of despair. He couldn't stop Su Yan anymore. After being chased all the way here, his vitality was greatly damaged, and he couldn't muster up much battle strength. Now Su Yan's big hand swept across the sky, and killing intent surged. Once hit, the Tao protector would definitely die. One had to know that this was a supreme expert, and now, he was actually forced to this step, causing the experts who came to watch the battle from afar to have goosebumps all over their bodies. This was simply an invincible supreme expert, the strongest expert in the world. Even at the doorstep of the sealed heaven domain, he was going to cripple a supreme expert. Show me your strength and activate the sealed heaven diagram. The group of old ancestors of the sealed heaven domain roared toward the sky. The sacred sealed heaven domain glowed, and in an instant, a terrifying energy gushed out and penetrated the dim sealed heaven diagram. Under the stimulation of the energy, the heaven sealing diagram blazed and rose from the ground with a rumble, blocking Su Yan's palm that was descending from the sky. Not good. Tai Rooster's face changed. He didn't expect the sealed heaven domain's strength to be so strong that they could revive the sealed heaven diagram. The heavily injured Tao Protector was also taken back to the ancestral land by the experts of the sealed heaven domain. As for the sealed heaven diagram, it had also escaped. It was very difficult to suppress a supreme treasure. Ha ha ha, I'm still alive. The Tao Protector laughed. He was taken back to the ancestral land, and his life was saved. Old thing, you can still laugh? Do you really think I can't break the sealed heaven domain? Since I'm here, I won't go back empty-handed. Su Yan coldly shouted. Su Yan's aura was particularly shocking, and Tai Rooster stood on his shoulder. I don't care who you are. Even the taboo can't break the sealed heaven domain, and you still want to break it? An old ancestor of the sealed heaven domain said with a gloomy face, Wishful thinking, if you have the ability, let me see you break it. As you wish. Su Yan's eyes widened, and his entire body surged with Tai Rooster's aura in an instant. In a short period of time, the vast territory began to shake violently. The moment the two supreme experts released their auras, the sky fell and the earth cracked, and the sea of stars was torn apart. The huge sealed heaven domain trembled, and Su Yan and Tai Rooster's auras resonated. It was too frightening for a moment, and the huge sealed heaven domain trembled. At the same time, it was accompanied by a terrifying aura, and a large number of experts were shaken to death. Two peerless almighties! Countless people exclaimed. The two giants burned their life force and released the most ferocious power to attack the sealed heaven domain. Even the immortal binding rope was resurrected. This lineup was too frightening. The huge sealed heaven domain was like a ripple, and the space at the edge of the ancestral land collapsed into a huge crack. It was as if the sealed heaven domain was about to be torn apart. Quickly open up the foundation and stop him. Don't let him kill his way in. Rest assured, old ancestors, our race has immeasurable foundation. Even if another supreme expert comes, he won't be able to break it. The group of sealed heaven domain's old ancestors made up their minds, and a huge amount of heavenly materials and earthly treasures were burned in an instant, turning into the purest source of energy, and poured into the defensive formation. Buzz. The aura that leaked out of the entire sealed heaven region became much more intense. It was like a burning golden sun, blocking the aura of Su Yan and Miser. Let's see how much foundation you have to burn. Su Yan was majestic, and his black hair fluttered in the wind. With a loud roar, the earth and mountains shook, and the universe changed its course. He was too domineering, and his aura was surging like a bull. In front of the incomplete foundation of the sealed heaven domain, Su Xianren exuded an unparalleled divine aura and shouted, Be smart, hand over the Tao Protector and the sealed heaven diagram, or today, I, Su Yan, will flatten your entire sealed heaven domain. Chapter 1275. His loud and clear voice exploded in the space-time, rippling out and spreading all over the world. The storm caused by this sentence was even more shocking and dreamy than his current strength. The whole space-time became silent. Everyone was stunned by this sentence. Even the experts of the sealed heaven region were stunned. They all thought that they had misheard. How could a dead Su Yan come back to life in a different way? But the expert who attacked the sealed heaven region was now saying that he was Su Yan. This is impossible. How could Su Yan still be alive when people die and lights go out? Exclamations came from the distant world. How could there be such an outrageous thing? Su Xianren was still alive? He is Su Yan? Is the heavens playing a joke on me? He is not dead? He is still alive. Heavens, is that person still alive? He said it himself. It was said by the expert who beat up the protector of the sealed heaven region. He is dead, but the invincible man of the immortal graveyard is still alive. All the experts in the world were frightened, no matter how great his background was. Or many powerful experts, all of them were dumbfounded. The storm caused by the immortal graveyard in those years, Su Yan, a horizontal realm expert who had fallen in glory, had actually come back to life? Even now, he was standing in front of them. Who would dare to believe it? A dead person had come back to life. Su Yan is still alive. The entire sealed heaven region was in a storm. Too many people felt fear. For them, the invincible Su Yan in the immortal graveyard was a nightmare they did not want to face. The world was shocked. The experts in the sky looked at the figure in the distance. He was too imposing, his aura swallowing the sea of stars and dominating the world. In the stormy world, everything lost its luster. In front of the powerful sealed heaven region, everything seemed weak under the feet of Su Xianren. The dead had returned to settle the grudges of the past. Moreover, he appeared in such a manner. The sealed heaven region was destined to lose face. Even if they could not break into the ancestral land, the clan would lose its former glory. The sealed heaven region bullied me back then. Now I'm here. Su Yan coldly shouted, just stand here. Does anyone dare to come out and fight with me? His voice echoed throughout the sealed heaven region, causing all the patriarchs of the clan to go mad with hatred. They wanted nothing more than to skin Su Yan alive. A weak cultivator from the past was blocking their doorway to challenge them. However, in the entire sealed heaven region, even the guardians had suffered a crushing defeat. Who else could fight Su Yan now? We must kill him. Kill him. There were some old antiques whose faces were distorted as they roared into the heavens. They couldn't afford to lose face like this. In the past, the weak cultivators had been targeted by the big shots of the sealed heaven realm. But now, Su Yan was looking down on the entire sealed heaven realm with a peerless attitude. He was challenging the experts of their clans to come out and fight. However, it was easier said than done to kill him. Now, Su Yan was like an emperor of a generation, looking down on the common people of the world. All the experts of the sealed heaven region felt a heavy pressure in their hearts. They almost couldn't breathe. Su Yan has really risen. In this world, if the taboos don't come out, who can compete with him? Many onlookers sighed. Back then, they had been hunted down all the way. Su Yan, who had wandered through various life and death situations, was now able to challenge the entire sealed heaven region. Many of Su Yan's admirers were proud of him. One person can intimidate an entire forbidden zone. Who in the past could do that? The whole place was in an uproar. The dead had been resurrected, and the emperor had returned. The entire sealed heaven region was intimidated. What? I, Su Yan, am here to challenge you. Is there no one in the sealed heaven region who can fight with me? A powerful aura gushed out of Su Yan's body, covering the sky and covering the earth as he rushed towards the sealed heaven region. He shouted, "You have disappointed me too much. Back then, you bullied me because I was weak. Now I am standing here. Is there anyone who can fight me?" Su Yan, you've gone too far. An expert of the sealed heaven region shouted, I'm warning you. Our clan has taboos. When they come out of seclusion, you won't even know how you died. Taboos? Su Yan said coldly, I'm not afraid of threats. Let the taboos come out. I, Su Yan, will see how many taboos you have. You're too arrogant. An ancestor of the sealed heaven region couldn't stand it anymore. He shouted, Show me your strength. I don't believe Su Yan can withstand the suppression of the strongest strength of our sealed heaven region. Kill Su Xianren. Our clan has been glorious since ancient times. How can a lucky brat stand shoulder to shoulder with us? A group of radicals from the sealed heaven region exuded a bone-chilling aura. Although Su Yan's achievements were great, the noble bloodline flowing in their bones still looked down on Su Yan. How could they admit defeat now? Boom! The silent sealed heaven region's strength suddenly became violent. The entire ancestral land was burning, intertwining with countless symbols of the great Tao, illuminating the universe. This was the recovery of the accumulated strength of the sealed heaven region over the endless years. The traces of the great Tao engraved by the almighty experts in the ancestral land represented their inheritances and ultimate techniques. Now, all of this was burning in an instant. In a short time, the entire sealed heaven region's ancestral land expanded by a large amount. Inside the ancestral land, golden stars appeared one after another, rumbling loudly. Boom! Heaven and earth went berserk, and the void trembled. Countless golden stars began to revolve, creating a turbulent storm. The scene was truly shocking. It was as if the entire clan's fortune was dancing, rushing towards Su Yan. How terrifying! The almighty experts watching from afar trembled, their hair standing on end. This was too powerful. The sealed heaven region's strength was truly unparalleled. Although it couldn't withstand a single blow from a taboo expert, it was absolutely a nightmare for the almighty domain. Boundless energy surged, shaking the four seas and the boundless aura, causing a corner of the universe to collapse. Just as all of this was rushing towards Su Yan, that person was awakening with boundless divine might. The sound of the great Tao spread out along with the awakening of the universe, emitting the supreme profundity of the origin of all things. However, even if Su Yan stood in this domain, it was still somewhat insufficient in front of the sealed heaven region's domain. But at this time, the immortal binding rope was awakened. The miser's energy penetrated it, causing it to awaken completely. It was like a golden dragon entrenched in the universe, burning fiercely. Kill! Su Yan roared. His indomitable spirit was suffocating. He swung the immortal binding rope with one arm, and his aura skyrocketed. Heaven and earth were destroyed, but they couldn't stop Su Yan's strength. He was like a heaven-splitting overlord, his roar shook the universe, and his magic power was monstrous. Dong dong dong! Su Yan's battle strength boiled in a short time. He waved the immortal binding rope and attacked the ancestral land of the sealed heaven region fiercely. One layer after another, this was not a simple attack. Su Yan's whole body and the immortal binding rope were burning, erupting with endless killing power to attack the sealed heaven region. This was a majestic giant attacking the universe. Bang bang bang! The golden stars in the sky exploded. Any matter hit by the immortal binding rope would be destroyed in a single blow. Su Yan became more and more crazy as he fought. In the end, the scene that appeared in the eyes of the world was that a war immortal went berserk, waving the immortal binding rope thousands of times, causing the golden stars in the sky to tremble and explode. Su Xianren is too strong, isn't he? He's going against the entire sealed heaven region's foundation alone. Countless people's scalps tingled. That person's chi swallowed the star sea, immeasurable and terrifying, surging with unparalleled divine power, attacking the sealed heaven region thunderously. Although their foundation was strong, it could not suppress Su Yan's sharpness at all. Bastard, bastard, some of the ancestral patriarchs of the sealed heaven region were bleeding in their hearts. Such a consumption of heavenly treasures constantly made the ruler of the sealed heaven region feel the pinch. Even the life-forbidden zone with a shocking foundation could not last long. They would rather not fight such a battle for a long time. However, the person facing the sealed heaven region was Su Yan. How could the sealed heaven region lower their proud heads so easily? In less than half an incense stick's time, the destructive power of this area shook the vast chaos ruins, and the regions after regions were shaken. This was a scene that shocked the world. A person was attacking a life-forbidden zone alone. Su Xianren has stopped. The sealed heaven region's foundation is too strong. He can't attack it. The storm lasted for a while and Su Yan stopped. He had lost a lot of energy. Although he had stopped, the sealed heaven region did not dare to act rashly, and the entire group did not dare to speak. What was this? One person intimidated an entire life forbidden zone. The sealed heaven region was destined to lose face in this battle. With one person blocking the gate of their ancestral land, no one dared to come out. Even if it was blocked for a quarter of an hour, it was enough to shock the universe and humiliate the sealed heaven region. However, the world thought that the storm would end there. But to everyone's astonishment, in less than half a day, Su Yan and the miser went berserk again, launching a new round of attacks. The experts of the sealed heaven region did not dare to come out and attack Su Yan. They could only take the beating passively. I'd like to see how much foundation you can afford to lose. Su Yan let out a long roar, took out the immortal binding rope again, and attacked the sealed heaven region. What are you trying to do? Some of the ancestral patriarchs of the sealed heaven region were completely frightened. Was Su Yan not going to stop until he broke through the sealed heaven region? Hand over the guardians and the sealed heaven diagram. Su Yan shouted coldly as he continued to attack the sealed heaven region. He knew very well that the sealed heaven region would not be able to hold on for long, no matter how strong their foundation was. That's impossible. The experts of the sealed heaven region were furious. Su Yan's price was too high. Some ancestral patriarchs growled, "Our tribe's foundation has been prosperous since ancient times. Even if you attack for a year, you won't be able to break through our ancestral land." "What's a year?" Su Yan sneered. "I've already prepared to attack here for 10 years, until the sealed heaven region is exhausted." Su Yan's words struck fear into the hearts of the sealed heaven region's people. If this great demon really squatted here for 10 years, even if the sealed heaven region was not destroyed, the reputation of the entire tribe would be lost. "Su Yan, we can talk, but the sealed heaven diagram is impossible. This is the most precious treasure of our tribe. We can lose anything, but the sealed heaven diagram." Several ancestral patriarchs of the sealed heaven region could no longer sit still and directly admitted defeat, saying that they could compensate Su Yan with treasures and elixirs. They could not bear this kind of consumption. Since Su Yan dared to speak, it meant that he really dared to do it. Once it reached this point, the sealed heaven region would lose everything. Therefore, they wanted to compensate Su Yan. If they allowed him to go on like this, the sealed heaven region's losses would be even more outrageous. Chapter 1276. What's there to talk about without the Feng Tian diagram? Su Yan's eyes flashed with cold lightning. He released his aura, and the immortal binding rope burst out. One person, suppressing a life-forbidden zone. Even in the face of such a shocking foundation, Su Yan still went berserk. His whole body and the immortal binding rope merged into one, releasing a peerless divine power that could overturn rivers and seas. "Kill!" he roared, a dragon fighting in the wild, his roar shaking the mountains and rivers. Boom! Loud explosions sounded one after another. The immortal binding rope cracked time and space. Its terrifying strength was enough to split heaven and earth. The golden rope attacked the sacred Feng Tian domain. Every time it attacked, the Feng Tian domain trembled. The vast ancestral land was glowing, countless secret treasure vaults were opened, and a huge amount of heavenly treasures were burned to maintain the peak foundation to prevent Su Yan from attacking. However, every breath was a great loss to the Feng Tian domain. Although the clan's foundation was endless, and there were no less than 10,000 treasure vaults, how long could the Feng Tian domain last if the resources were consumed one after another? Su Yan did not believe that the Feng Tian domain's taboo would come out directly. For a taboo expert who had sealed himself for a long time, how could he come out so easily? Because, in the past, the prehistoric Big Brother had punched the Feng Tian domain, but he could not make the taboo come out. Even if the taboo of the Fengtian domain could be revived, could he be like the ancestral hall? For a taboo who had been sealed for 1,000,000 years, even if he came out, how much battle strength could he exert? In short, Su Yen was not afraid. The immortal binding rope continued to attack the Fengtian domain. Some people even tried to revive the clan's great weapons to try to interfere with Su Yen and stop his crazy actions. However, it was useless. No matter how strong the Fengtian domain's attacks were, Su Yen was protected by the immortal binding rope. None of the great weapons could threaten Su Yen. Moreover, the clan's Fengtian diagram was greatly damaged, so it could not exert too much battle strength. "I hate it!" some old ancestors of the Fengtian domain roared. It was a cruel question. They could not face Su Yen, and they could not scare him away. Now, they could only watch as Su Yen attacked the Fengtian ancestral land. If the stalemate continued for a long time, the sealed heaven region would exhaust its endless resources. Once it lost these resources, what resources could the sealed heaven region take out? He might not be able to recover from this setback in the future. Ha ha ha! How can I miss out on the destruction of the realm of sealed heaven? Grandmaster Kong was here, but he didn't dare to call Su Yen senior brother anymore. Originally, this relationship didn't exist, but now, Su Yen had become a supreme expert. However, the Su Yen of the past was nothing compared to the King Kongpa of the past. The arrival of the first boss of the new era had infuriated the entire sealed heaven region. Now, any Tom, Dick, and Harry could humiliate the life-forbidden zone. However, some old ancestors were already in despair. What could they use to fight against Su Yen? The Tao Protector's injuries were serious, and he had to recuperate. Once he recovered, who knew what would happen to the sealed heaven region? Even if Su Yen only blocked the sealed heaven region for 10 days, it would be enough for their clans to live in shame. Living in shame, all the legends of the past no longer existed. I think we should call our friends and ask a group of supreme experts to come. Grandmaster Kong seemed to have been injected with chicken blood. He smiled cunningly. I believe many independent cultivators would be happy to break through the sealed heaven region. When the time comes, we can gather hundreds of supreme experts and tear apart the tortoise shell in a short time. The group of sealed heaven region's old ancestors wanted to tear Grandmaster Kang's mouth apart, but his words made them completely terrified. Once they did that, the sealed heaven region would be completely trampled. Su Yen, we can talk slowly. An old ancestor of the sealed heaven region said calmly. Our clan can pay a great price to make up for your loss. To put it bluntly, even if you gather hundreds of supreme experts, you won't be able to break through the sealed heaven region in a year. What other supreme treasures do your sealed heaven region have besides the Fengtian diagram? Su Yen replied coldly. If you don't have the Fengtian diagram, then there's nothing to talk about. Be sensible and hand over the Fengtian diagram. We can talk about it. As long as it's not the Fengtian diagram, our clan can pay. As long as you name the price, we can talk. This old ancestor, who was filled with endless shame, admitted defeat. He didn't want to fight with Su Yen anymore and wanted to spend money to settle the matter. Okay. Su Yen was silent for a while, then said, Give me 20 supreme experts' sacred weapons and I can protect your clan for 10 years. You're crazy. The group of old ancestors of the sealed heaven region almost went crazy. 20 supreme experts' sacred weapons, and even 10 years of protection for their clan? Was this a protection fee? Without our protection, I'm afraid your sealed heaven region won't be able to survive. Miser Rooster threatened them with a fierce face. Our clan doesn't have 20 supreme experts' sacred weapons. No other clan can take them out. Moreover, if we do have 20 supreme experts' sacred weapons, you won't be able to break in for the rest of your life. The experts of the sealed heaven region growled. They were about to go crazy. Miser Rooster scratched his bald head and said, Isn't your clan a life-forbidden zone? Your foundation is too weak. The Ancestral Hall has 17 Supreme Experts' sacred weapons. Don't you have any? It's reasonable to say that your foundation should be stronger than the Ancestral Hall. The group of old ancestors of the sealed heaven region trembled. Did they break into the Ancestral Hall and even the Dark Nether clan? Liar! Kong Bo said angrily. They're lying. Experts of the sealed heaven region, listen carefully. Do you see the immortal binding rope Su Yen has? That's the protection fee paid by the Dark Nether clan. Su Yen has already been very lenient to your clan, and you still dare to bargain. Miser Rooster sneered. Boss was really good at bragging. However, he had really fooled the group of old ancestors of the sealed heaven region. But 20 supreme experts' sacred weapons, we really don't have them. The group of old ancestors was about to go crazy. They said angrily, Su Yen, don't force us. If you force us to burn all our foundation, we can definitely make the taboo stand out. Don't use the taboo to pressure me. Su Yen said coldly. If you don't have 20 supreme experts' sacred weapons, then take out the rest of the treasures as compensation. If you can't pay the protection fee, don't blame me. Su Yen suddenly thought of the strongest puppet of the Chiman Duanjia series. In the past, Dragon 9 had repaired it to the supreme expert level, but he had left a series of formulas for Su Yen. If he could find these materials, then it would be a big problem. In the past, Dragon 9 had said that if everything went well, then it would be a big problem. The puppet might have a terrifying taboo domain. Now that he thought about it, Su Yen felt a surge of emotions. With the taboo puppet, even if the environment returned in the future, Su Yen would be able to conquer the world in the future. Su Yen was still lacking a lot of repair materials. Since the sealed heaven region wanted to negotiate, Su Yen was also tempted. He listed over 1,000 materials, all of which were extremely precious. Since Su Yen still wanted to refine his life treasure, he demanded an exorbitant price and listed over 1,000 precious materials. Ruthless. When Kong Bo saw Su Yan's list of treasures, he was shocked. This was too ruthless. This was like cutting off the flesh of the sealed heaven region. This wealth was enough to make any Peak clan go crazy. He's crazy, this lunatic. He's asking us to cut off our flesh and bleed. We can't satisfy him like this, we can't. When Su Yen handed the list of protection fees to the sealed heaven region, the group of old ancestors almost fainted from anger. If they really agreed to Su Yan's request, the rare treasures that the sealed heaven region had accumulated over the years would be completely emptied out. One had to know that rare chaos treasures were hard to come by. Even the sealed heaven region had a limited supply. Although they had been storing them for generations, Su Yen wanted so much in one go. This made the big shots of the sealed heaven region tremble with anger. This was like cutting off their flesh. He's a lunatic. The ruler of the sealed heaven region sighed. I've already communicated with the guardians. He attacked the ancestral region, and even the taboo puppet couldn't stop him. If he really stays here, the foundation of the sealed heaven region will be exhausted sooner or later. The group of old ancestors felt that the sky was falling. The taboo puppet couldn't do anything to Su Yen, and the sealed heaven region couldn't stop Su Yen. Someone cursed Xiao Ming, saying that he had provoked this lunatic. You're already dead, and you've left a big problem for the sealed heaven region. In the end, after a vote, the higher-ups of the sealed heaven region agreed to pay the protection fees. Some old ancestors still had hope in their hearts. The environment of the universe is about to return. As long as our taboo puppet stands up, we'll definitely make Su Yen pay double. Yes, when the taboo ancestor comes out of seclusion, we'll make him pay back 1,000 times. The group of old ancestors roared angrily, as if comforting themselves that they could still get it back in the future. However, it was difficult for the sealed heaven region to collect the materials on Su Yan's list. Some old ancestors stood up and talked to Su Yen to see if they could reduce the price. However, Su Yen left a harsh word, saying that they couldn't leave a single one out. Even if they didn't have the materials, they would make up the gap with treasured materials of the same grade. Otherwise, he would continue to attack the sealed heaven region and fight with them. The sealed heaven region gave in. Did he really succeed? Almighty Kong Bo was dumbfounded. Su Yen had threatened the life-forbidden region and forced them to bow their heads and submit. They had to pay a huge price to settle this matter. The sealed heaven region had no choice. If they didn't pay the protection fees, he would choose to continue attacking the city. In the end, the sealed heaven region would suffer even greater losses. In the end, the sealed heaven region reluctantly paid the protection fees. We've really struck it rich. Miser Rooster wiped his saliva. Su Yen had emptied the sealed heaven region of their resources. This was an unimaginable amount of wealth. Some of the sealed heaven region's big shots had gloomily asked Su Yen to swear not to leak this matter out. Even now, they still wanted to maintain their dignity and the life-forbidden region's face. Su Yen had received a huge amount of wealth, so he naturally agreed. Don't worry, I'll keep my mouth shut. I've always been a law-abiding person. I won't act recklessly. The group of old ancestors almost went crazy with anger. You're the only law-abiding one? However, Su Yen felt it was a pity that he was still missing a precious material to restore the uncanny craftsmanship series of puppets. Earth lotion, and it needs to be 1 million years old. I seem to have used it. I don't know if it's easy to find. I hope the Cosmos Business Alliance can help me find it. Su Yen curled his lips. This thing was too rare and precious. It could extend the lifespan of an almighty and even restore their accumulation. No one was willing to sell it. Su Xianren has withdrawn. Why did he withdraw all of a sudden? Did the sealed heaven region give in, or did something else happen? The spectators all over the world cried out in alarm. They really wanted to know what had happened. However, Su Yen had left too quickly. He had disappeared without a trace in the blink of an eye. However, the first boss of the new era had been warmly invited by everyone. They really wanted to know what had happened. In the end, Kong Bo was like a loudspeaker. He explained the cause and effect of the matter from beginning to end. He didn't hide anything at all and said whatever he knew. The sealed heaven region had asked Su Yen to keep quiet and not leak this matter out, but they hadn't asked him to keep quiet. This made the first boss of the new era feel that he had been severely discriminated against. He announced to the world, even saying, "Everyone, my junior brother has gone to the heavenly bamboo branch to settle old scores. I don't know who will be next, so I hope you can be mentally prepared." Chapter 1277. The first great being of the new era was a household name. Many of the older generation's powerhouses looked up to him as an example, hoping to break through the Divine King's barrier. Entering the realm of powerhouses and becoming one of the strongest. Now that Kong Bo had spread this news throughout the entire primal chaos was shaken. Even the sect master level powerhouses were shocked. The sealed heaven realm had paid a huge price to resolve this disaster. It sounded like a fantasy, but this matter concerned the sealed heaven realm and Su Yen, so no one would joke about it. A single person looking down on all living things, intimidating one peak clan after another. He was crowned emperor in a single battle. Finally, important news from the outerverse arrived one after another, shaking the entire universe. The world was shocked, and no one dared to believe the news. 4 peak clans joined forces to attack the Milky Way. But they suffered a crushing defeat. Some died, some were injured, and only a few survived. Su Xianren turned the tide, and was crowned emperor in a single battle. In the age of taboos, he was invincible. He killed the third son of primal chaos, and Yin Zhong, 2 almighty experts. Afterward, he almost destroyed the entire ancestral realm. Now, the realm of sealed heaven is bowing its head to Su Yen and paying him a huge sum of money. This matter caused all the clans in the universe to go crazy. A single person had intimidated the world, and he had been crowned emperor in a single battle. This caused all clans to tremble. An invincible existence had been born. In an era without taboos, he could become emperor. Even now, many people found it hard to believe that so many things had happened in the past few days. The Buried Realms clan is about to rise. Someone exclaimed. In this battle, the Buried Realms clan gathered the power of 4 peak powerhouses. In the entire Golden Age era, who can stand shoulder to shoulder with them? Anyone could see the changes in the universe. The Buried Realms clan was spitting out a shocking amount of resources. The clan's fate was reviving, and their might shook the past, present, and future. They had regained their lost glory and legends. A single person intimidating the Forbidden Realm was already terrifying enough, but the Buried Realm's rallying power was also inconceivable. Originally, some people from the Z family were resentful, but after hearing this news, they were completely dumbfounded. Even the powerful Sealed Heaven Realm had paid a huge protection fee, so what did the Z family count for? As long as Su Yen was ruthless, the Z family would be wiped out, and the Cosmos Business Alliance would belong to the Buried Realm. Big news! Su Yen has ascended to the Sky Bamboo bloodline. Song Tian's revenge on Su Yen in Emperor's Path back then. Su Yan's ascending to the Sky Bamboo bloodline. Su Yen is now's. Su now. In the universe, news spread like wildfire. Song Tian was as flustered as a headless hornet. He was terrified and didn't dare to return to his family. He didn't even dare to return to the Chaos Ruins. He was scared stiff. Song Tian had already been abandoned as the successor of the Sky Bamboo clan. If he went back now, the clan would not become enemies with Su Yen again because of him. Even the Sealed Heaven Realm had lowered its head. Even if the Sky Bamboo clan's mighty figure pleaded for him, Su Yen would most likely kill him. Su Yen. Song Tian was mad with hatred. He was now a mighty figure, but compared to Su Yen, he was really insignificant. He could not even go back home. Song Tian was really doubting life now. Of course, it was not only Song Tian. The Ma family and some other forces were also uneasy. They were afraid that Su Yen would come to settle the score with them. Since Su Yen had gone to the Sky Bamboo bloodline, he would definitely not let them off easily. The almighty Kong Bo was still telling the world about the heavy price the Sealed Heaven region had paid. If he wanted to settle the grudges of the past, he had to pay a price. He had to prepare some capital. On this day, the Divine Firmament sect issued an order that made the storm in the world even more turbulent. The successor of the Divine Firmament sect was originally King Flash, but King Flash had been stripped of his position as the successor. In fact, the various clans were not surprised. Ever since King Flash had been taken away from God Burial Mountain, King Flash did not even dare to leave his home. He had been crippled. However, the Divine Firmament sect had announced this at this time. It was obvious that they were completely afraid of Su Yan's ferocious might. He forced the various great sects to lower their heads alone. Decades have passed, and Su Xianren is invincible in the world. Who dares to not accept the title of emperor in one battle? He is really invincible in the world. A storm surged in the world, rumbling. A magnificent star rose from the ground and rushed to the top, looking down on the world. What a respectable human emperor! Now, Su Yan's movements attracted everyone's attention. Many people noticed that he had gone to the Sky Bamboo lineage's ancestral ground. It could be considered a revisit to an old place. Back then, Su Yen had been brought back to the Sky Bamboo lineage by Bamboo Moon and had almost lost his life there. I wonder how Bamboo Moon is now. Has she recovered from her injuries? Back then, the Sky Bamboo mighty figure personally brought Bamboo Moon back to the clan and even said that Bamboo Moon would inherit Song Tian's identity and position. Bamboo Moon should be doing well. Su Yen was concerned about Bamboo Moon's safety. Back then, during the battle in the Immortal Graveyard, Bamboo Moon had almost lost her life and suffered all kinds of torture and pain. This friendship was engraved in his heart. Welcome, mighty figure Su Yen. The sky bamboo lineage's ancestral ground was opened. The life force was majestic, and purple energy rippled. Naturally, there were many experts inside, and it was full of peak clans. However, at the entrance, the experts of the sky bamboo lineage were all bowing. Zhu Yuanqing and the others were bending their backs and knees. This scene shocked the distant spectators. One had to know that these were all heavenly deities. This was the divine king. Here, he was bowing to Su Xianren. Even the mighty experts were bowing to welcome him. The extravagance of welcoming Su Yen was too great. None of those who stood out were weak. Men, women, old, and young came out to welcome him. All of them were core clansmen of the sky bamboo lineage. Now, they were standing at the clan's entrance to welcome Su Yan's arrival. The standard was extremely high. This is heaven-defying. They've given Su Yen enough face. This is to settle the past calamities. It's hard to say. Song Tian tried to kill Su Yen back then and joined forces with the first son of the primal chaos to besiege Su Yen. Su Xianren definitely won't forget this matter. The distant spectators were dumbfounded. For a person to have such achievements and shock all the clans in the world, he could truly be considered an emperor among men. Some of the older generation of the sky bamboo branch sighed. Fortunately, their clan's almighty had kept his cool and didn't interfere with the fight between the younger generation. Otherwise, the sky bamboo branch wouldn't be much stronger than the sealed heaven region. He's Su Yen, the peerless expert who was crowned emperor in one battle and forced the sealed heaven region to bow their heads. This was the first time many of the sky bamboo lineage's clansmen had seen Su Yen. Although Su Yen had also come to the clan back then, they had not had the chance to meet him. Now, Su Yen had arrived at the sky bamboo lineage with an invincible status. The clan's older experts felt as if they were facing a great enemy. Their hearts were tense from beginning to end. Ha ha ha, the mighty expert Su Yen has graced our clan with his presence. Our clan is truly honored. A group of sky bamboo's old experts laughed enthusiastically. Their eyes were filled with complex emotions as they looked at the figure who had crossed over from afar. He seemed to have crossed over a large region with a single step. His mighty divine might shook the 4 seas and oceans. How could their emotions not be complicated? This was Su Yen, the little cultivator who had been troubled by their clan and even had his freedom restricted. Now, Su Yen had come to their doorstep in such a domineering manner, forcing the experts of the sky bamboo lineage to come out and welcome him. Zhu Yuanqing and the others had knelt down to welcome him, trembling. How could they have imagined that Su Yen would suddenly become an invincible peak mighty expert? An invincible powerhouse was enough to intimidate any peak orthodoxy in the world. Su Yen came closer and stood calmly in the void. His long black hair draped over his shoulders. His deep eyes looked at everything in front of him, but he had no intention of entering. The group of sky bamboo's big shots were on guard, as if they were facing a great enemy. They did not know why Su Yen had come at this juncture. Was he here to settle some grudges, or for some other reason? Su Yen stood calmly and did not say a word. This kind of attitude gave the entire sky bamboo branch an invisible pressure. It shocked the group of experts so much that they didn't even dare to breathe loudly. Under the situation where they didn't understand Su Yan's intentions, they didn't dare speak carelessly. Su Yen was among them. He also saw Zhu Yuanqing and the others bend their backs and knees. Being stared at by Su Yen, Zhu Yuanqing and the others felt their hair stand on end. They were terrified, but they did not fear death. They only hoped that their clan would not be implicated. If he really used force, Sky Bamboo's great beings would most likely not be able to stop him. Fellow cultivator, do you have anything to discuss with us? The few great beings smiled bitterly. Back when they took Bamboo Moon away from the universe's secret territory, they did not think much of Su Yen. However, only a few years had passed, and he was now among the ranks of the universe's greatest beings. Is Sky Bamboo's great being home? Su Yen asked indifferently. His voice traveled to everyone's ears. This made them shudder. Was he here to challenge Sky Bamboo's great being? Rumble. At this moment, in the ancestral land of Sky Bamboo, a simple and unadorned palace glowed. Inside, there was a figure sitting cross-legged. He appeared to be supreme, and his aura filled the entire space-time. The palace was blazing, and a golden path extended from inside. It led to the outside world and landed in front of Su Yen. Fellow cultivator, let's talk inside. Sky Bamboo's great being's voice came, and the great beings in the clan heaved a sigh of relief. It seemed that Su Yen was not going to make a big fuss. Su Yen nodded slightly and stepped onto the golden path. He walked step by step towards the palace of the Great Path. When he arrived at the palace of the Great Path, the entire palace automatically sealed itself off. The atmosphere also completely dissipated and quickly fell into nothingness. Su Xianren did not use force. I guess it's because of that lady. It's hard to say. I wonder what he wants to talk about with Sky Bamboo's great being? The spectators in the distance began to discuss. Many of them were disappointed that there was no fight. They felt that it had something to do with the lady who sacrificed herself to save Su Yen. The world also wanted to know what they wanted to talk about, but Sky Bamboo was on full alert, forbidding any great beings from taking half a step into the clan. Within the palace of the Great Path, Su Yen came to the center. His gaze fell on the Sky Bamboo great cultivator. The younger generation will surpass us in time. Sky Bamboo's great being smiled. He stood up and said, in just a few decades, you were able to grow to this stage. You have really broken the record. You have great hopes of becoming a taboo in the future. Hearing this, Su Yen cupped his hands and said, Senior, you're too polite. The taboo is still too far away for me. I haven't even touched the realm of the great beings. I don't know anything about the taboo hurdle. I don't know anything about it at all, so I would like to ask for your guidance. Hearing this, Sky Bamboo's great being was shocked. Su Yen had not stepped into the realm of the great beings. He had just broken through. Su Yen did not hide this, and there was no need to. They were not enemies, but they did not know anything about the taboo. The current universe was in a sealed state. No one could comprehend the concept of the taboo. The taboo is indeed difficult to touch. Sky Bamboo's great being suppressed the shock in his heart and said, however, you've come into contact with the Emperor Seed. Compared to you, you have great hopes of breaking through the taboo. I'm also confused as to how to break through the taboo. In short, the current universe's environment is a huge shackle that limits the conditions for us to grow. The shackles of heaven and earth probably won't exist for too long. There will be no peace for a period of time in the future. Su Yen sat on the ground and said, I came here this time mainly for a few old matters. Hearing this, Sky Bamboo's great being smiled bitterly and said, Song Tian is not in the clan. I know about the grudge between you and him. This is the cycle of karma. No. Su Yen raised his head and said, I'm not here for this matter. I want to find out about the matter of your clan's great being damaging the realm C many years ago. Su Yen wanted to find out about this matter in the past, but he was not strong enough. Now, he had absolute strength to talk to the universe's great being at the top of the pyramid. This matter. Sky Bamboo's great being was silent. He was not surprised that Su Yen asked about this matter. I want to know what kind of world the Realm C is. Who was the target of the taboo big brother behind me back then? Su Yen asked. After all, the taboo big brother had attacked him back then. Su Yen would never forget it. Moreover, Su Yen and Iron Rooster had almost died because of it. As expected, the great being who attacked was the taboo big brother back then. Sky Bamboo's great being sucked in a breath of cold air and said, he could even attack the Realm C and find the spacetime node to kill his way in. The taboo big brother behind you is truly not a peerless figure. Su Yen, do you know what the Realm Sea is? Su Yen shook his head. He did not know, which was why he came to ask about Sky Bamboo's great being. This matter was too important. He had to find out. Realm Sea. Sky Bamboo's great being stood up and said in a gentle tone, "It does not exist between heaven and earth. It exists in another spacetime. Rumor has it that the Realm Sea is a forbidden land, an immortal realm of the cultivation world. There is no proof of this. Many great beings have discovered the Realm Sea in the past and explored it, but without exception they all disappeared. Therefore, the Realm Sea is known as the world's #1 land of peril. The reason why it is not widely spread is because the Realm Sea has appeared too rarely. Even if it appeared in the past, only the great beings of the world could capture the traces of the Realm Sea. Since the great being of your clan came out alive from the Realm Sea, you must know the reason, right?" Su Yen asked. "That's right." Sky Bamboo's great being nodded and said, "The environment of the Realm Sea is a bit similar to the immortal graveyard. It is a prehistoric environment. The reason why the great beings of my clan came out from the Realm Sea back then was because the taboo big brother fought back then and caused some cracks in the Realm Sea to collapse, allowing them to escape. However, Sky Bamboo's great being frowned and said solemnly, the Realm Sea is like a devil's den. The great beings of my clan stayed inside for a while, and their lifespans almost dried up, to the point where their bodies were completely rotten. It is completely a land of death, not a sacred pure land at all." Su Yan's heart skipped a beat. Could the Realm Sea be related to the Yinyang Road? Could the Realm Sea be their nest? De Zhang. Chapter 1278. The legends of the Realm Sea were very limited, but Sky Bamboo told Su Yan an extremely important piece of news. "You should be familiar with the bipolar star." The Sky Bamboo powerhouse said softly, "Back then, the various tribes joined forces to seal the bipolar star. Because the bipolar star is constantly turning dark, it can even devour the life force of experts. If this matter is allowed to continue, Rejoice will definitely be in danger. To prevent the bipolar star from turning dark," Sky Bamboo said in a deep voice, "a big shot from the Tao Church came out and joined forces with some other races to seal the bipolar star." Su Yan's eyes burst with light. The big shot mentioned by Sky Bamboo must be the Tao Church's taboo. He really wanted to participate in the sealing of the bipolar star. Even the taboo stood out. Su Yan was puzzled. Did Sect Master Ziwei not come out and hide in the Great Tao Celestial Mountain all this time? Actually, if you want to know more, why don't you ask the Tao Church's taboo? Sky Bamboo said, "But whether you can see it depends on your ability." "I see." Su Yan's heart trembled. Had the universe darkened? Su Yan felt that the Great Tao Mountain of the bipolar star should be damaged. Otherwise, it wouldn't have turned dark in advance. This meant that the problem was very serious. "Senior, do you know where the ancestral land of the Chaos Valley is?" Su Yan suddenly asked. Sky Bamboo was shocked by Su Yan's question. He looked at Su Yan in shock and said, "You're not thinking of attacking the Chaos Valley, are you?" Su Yan did have this intention, but he wasn't very confident. Therefore, he wanted to ask about the origin of the Chaos Valley. He had to prepare early. Even if Su Yan didn't go now, the Chaos Valley would come to him in the future. "I advise you to give up on this idea." Sky Bamboo shook his head and said, "The Chaos Valley is different from the sealed heaven domain. Although you killed the 8 children of the Chaos Valley and the Chaos Valley's foundation has been greatly damaged, the taboo doesn't care about this. The taboo behind you almost wiped out the sealed heaven domain, but the taboo of the sealed heaven domain hasn't appeared yet." Sky Bamboo's eyes were cold as he said, "Forbidden. A creature that has lived for so long doesn't care about the fickleness of human emotions. It's really difficult. These taboos have been sealed and suppressed for far too long. They've already lost a lot of their strength. The heavenly bamboo powerhouse said in a deep voice. Thus, it is very difficult for them to come out of seclusion, and it is also extremely difficult for them to take action. They will only step out when their interests are threatened. But the Valley of Chaos is different. Sky Bamboo sighed and said, in this world, there are primal chaos dragon veins that can slow down the loss of taboos. The sealed heaven region is powerful, but they don't have primal chaos dragon veins. However, the Valley of Primal Chaos does. Rather than calling them chaos dragon veins, it would be better to call them universe dragon veins. These are the strongest dragon veins born from the universe. They contain boundless vitality, and can maintain the speed of the Forbidden Realm's aging. The Sky Bamboo mighty figure smiled bitterly. If you go to the Valley of Chaos, their race's taboo will take action. Therefore, attacking the Valley of Chaos is simply unrealistic. Su Yen nodded. He thought of the taboo creature slumbering in the corpse blood sea. There was a primal chaos dragon vein there. Of course, although the other party had such a foundation, it was simply unrealistic for them to stand up from the seal. The premise was that they did not anger the taboo. Su Yen was glad that he had retreated from the Ancestral Hall in time. Otherwise, the Ancestral Hall's Hall Master would have most likely left his life behind. Su Yen had touched the primal chaos dragon vein, which was equivalent to touching half of the taboo's life. It would be strange if they did not go crazy. Senior, I'm a little curious. Su Yen suddenly smiled and said, is the Sky Bamboo in the Sky Bamboo lineage reconciled? The Sky Bamboo mighty figure looked at Su Yen in surprise. He could not help but laugh. I didn't expect that you would be the first person to ask me this. No one has ever asked me this before, not even the juniors of my race. It seems like there is an explanation. If you don't mind, would you tell me? Su Yen was also extremely curious about the Sky Bamboo lineage reconciled. Back when Su Yen was recuperating, Su Yen could not forget Zhu Ye's performance in the Giant Palace. This race was most likely deeply related to the Celestial Court lineage. Therefore, Su Yen wanted to understand the history of the Sky Bamboo lineage. It's nothing much. Actually, my race's history is already extremely incomplete. The Sky Bamboo mighty figure sat down and said, my race's heritage is very ancient. It's very difficult to trace back to which era it originated from. You have been to Sky Bamboo Mountain and seen the giant bamboo. You should know that that is the origin of my race. Actually, the giant bamboo had its own consciousness a long time ago. If we were to ask who the strongest guardian of my race is, it would definitely be the giant bamboo. Su Yan's heart was in a perilous situation. The giant bamboo had its own consciousness and was considered a taboo. But this was something that happened a long time ago. The glory of my race, since ancient times, has a lot to do with the giant bamboo. Some groups know that there is a taboo in my race, but they don't know that there is a problem with the giant bamboo. The Sky Bamboo mighty figure sighed and said, the giant bamboo's consciousness has almost disappeared. It has gone extinct and even died. This matter is a top secret of my race. But you. He looked at Su Yen and said, you have obtained a total of 9 bamboo leaves. This is inconceivable to me. Now I will share this secret with you. I don't want a third person to know about it. Su Yen nodded solemnly. This matter was related to the fate of their race. When the giant bamboo was still conscious, my race's ancestors knew that there was a previous generation above the giant bamboo. Su Yen turned pale. This was something that happened in a time and space that was difficult to trace back. The giant bamboo was not just one generation, there was a previous generation. Our race's history can be said to be very complicated. The Sky Bamboo mighty figure's aura suddenly changed. A giant bamboo that reached the heavens and the earth vaguely appeared behind him. Suddenly, Su Yen felt as if the universe was collapsing and being pierced through. Su Yan's spirit was shaken. The Sky Bamboo mighty figure's Dharma idol was all-encompassing. Moreover, The giant bamboo had a terrifying aura of time that seemed to originate from prehistory. It was extremely shocking. This is the inheritance. This is the imprint of the great Tao. The giant bamboo was once extremely glorious. It is difficult to trace back to its specific origins. The sky bamboo mighty figure said, "My race has two branches. The first is the giant bamboo branch, and the second is called the celestial race." Celestial race. Su Yan's eyes widened. He said, "Then, the Tsangtian race belongs to the celestial race. The sky bamboo branch is actually two groups of races. Perhaps. Who knows?" The sky bamboo mighty figure shook his head. The history of the race was too complicated. It was extremely difficult to trace back to the general origins. Too much had been buried in the passage of time. Su Yan understood the sky bamboo mighty figure very well. For example, the current Zhangtian race also wanted to know the history of the formation of these groups. They wanted to know the series of events that happened in the celestial court. However, the passage of time was merciless. The great Tao was merciless. Too much had been buried. Perhaps in a distant era, the matters of this era of the universe would also be destroyed in the long river of time. In this world, are there no immortal powerhouses? Su Yan murmured. He stood up and said, "The path of cultivation is vast and endless. Who knows where the end is? Who can be invincible all the time?" Mobile phone, // I didn't expect you to be able to see so deeply. The sky bamboo mighty figure said, "Perhaps this stage is too small. Perhaps the big stage outside will allow you to see more. Only then will you be able to see the new events of the heavens' favorites contending for supremacy. The higher your cultivation, the more you feel that this universe is like a small pond. You want to jump out and see the vast ocean outside. However, you and I both know that the outside world is exciting. What does it have to do with us? That day won't be too far away." Su Yan took a deep breath and said to the sky bamboo mighty figure, "Senior, are you prepared for the future calamity? Speaking of which, I do have something that I need your help with." The sky bamboo mighty figure hesitated for a moment. He stared at Su Yan and said, "You are really special. The giant bamboo gave you 9 bamboo leaves. I want you to make a trip to Sky Bamboo Mountain and meet the giant bamboo again." "Haha, Senior, aren't you afraid that I'll get some more bamboo leaves?" Su Yan laughed. Back then, he had been seriously injured and recuperating in the giant palace. At the critical moment, the 9 bamboo leaves had helped Su Yan reconstruct his physical body. These things were more precious than immortal medicines. Su Yan really wanted to get some more bamboo leaves. "You brat." The sky bamboo mighty figure laughed and said, "If you can help us awaken the giant bamboo, it will be worth it no matter how great the price is." Su Yan's heart trembled. The mighty figure wanted him to awaken a sleeping or dead taboo. The sky bamboo mighty figure did not think that the giant bamboo was truly dead. Perhaps there was still a chance for the giant bamboo to awaken. The future calamity was great. Who could resist it? The sky bamboo lineage could only continue to prosper with the protection of the taboo. No matter what would happen in the future, they had to take precautions. The sky bamboo mighty figure hoped that Su Yan could do it. "The 9 bamboo leaves saved my life and helped me reconstruct my physical body," Su Yan said solemnly. "Even if I have to pay a certain price, I want to help the giant bamboo. No matter if it succeeds, I want to try." "Alright." The sky bamboo mighty figure nodded heavily, full of hope. "Before I go, I want to," Su Yan said again. His eyes were filled with longing. "I know. Go out and take a look," the sky bamboo mighty figure said with a smile. Back then, Bamboo Moon was willing to give up her life for Su Yan. Their friendship was too deep. Now, Su Yan was the strongest person in the world. The sky bamboo mighty figure was happy to see them together. "How's Bamboo Moon's injury now?" Su Yan asked as he walked. His heart was filled with anticipation. Upon hearing this, the Sky Bamboo mighty figure smiled. You'll know when you go to Sky Bamboo Mountain. Bamboo Moon is currently in seclusion there. She's extraordinary and has gained the giant bamboo's deep recognition. I have to thank the taboo behind you for this. Bamboo Moon has told me some things. Back then, the prehistoric Big Brother had taught Bamboo Moon the Taoan method. As Bamboo Moon's cultivation deepened, she increasingly felt that the Taoan method taught to her by the taboo mighty figure could corroborate the giant bamboo's great Tao. This shocked the Sky Bamboo mighty figure. However, this was a taboo, and he was too embarrassed to ask for it. Bamboo Moon did not dare to teach it to the Sky Bamboo mighty figure in private. In truth, in the entire Sky Bamboo lineage, the only ones who could cultivate the giant bamboo phenomenon were the two of them. In short, the Sky Bamboo mighty figure was more and more curious about Su Yan or the taboo mighty figure behind him. He was even looking forward to it. New August 1st Chinese network. He could not help but wonder if their lineage was related to the Burial Region clan. Soon, Su Yan and the Sky Bamboo mighty figure walked out together and headed to Sky Bamboo Mountain. This scene made the Sky Bamboo powerhouses relax. It seemed that the two mighty figures had a good chat. This way, the Sky Bamboo lineage had avoided this calamity. Chapter 1279. The Sky Bamboo Almighty Expert brought Su Yan to Sky Bamboo Mountain. That's a forbidden land for my clan. Why would they go there? Is there even a need to ask? It must be because of Bamboo Moon. My clan's Bamboo Moon is recuperating at Sky Bamboo Mountain. Back then, Bamboo Moon risked her life to help Su Yan. Their friendship is clear. The juniors discussed, but they did not dare to speak too much. With two almighty experts present, their words would most likely be heard. At this time, Su Yan and the Sky Bamboo Almighty Expert entered Sky Bamboo Mountain together. Once again, Su Yan found it difficult to calm his emotions. Back then, he had obtained a great opportunity in Sky Bamboo Mountain, and his cultivation had soared as a result. Revisiting this place, Su Yan stood in the middle of the barren world and looked at the majestic territory. This was one of the origins of the Sky Bamboo lineage, although it looked dilapidated. But with Su Yan's vision as a grandmaster of the occult arts, he could clearly see the extraordinariness of this world. It was as if it had returned to silence, dormant from one generation to the next. Boom! When he looked into the depths, he saw large space-time rifts appearing one after another. They were very deep, as if they ran through epochs after epochs of the universe. Radiant space-time light rained down. In the space-time rift there was a giant bamboo. Although it was yellow and withered, it seemed to have died of old age. But this giant bamboo was glowing. Divine light shot out from the bamboo leaves one after another, and there was an immortal fluctuation flowing through it. Although many of the bamboo leaves on the giant bamboo had withered, there were still quite a few left. Each leaf was a shocking treasure, and could be called a sacred healing item. Su Yan was naturally deeply touched by the effects of these bamboo leaves. The giant bamboo had a great Tao fluctuation from the origin of life, exuding a vast vitality. Was it really dead? The Sky Bamboo Almighty Expert did not believe that the giant bamboo still had the power of life. Although its consciousness was almost gone, it still had a unique divinity. He wanted to see the giant bamboo revive and communicate with them. Bamboo Moon. Su Yan's eyes blazed. His golden eyes quickly locked onto a graceful figure floating on a bamboo leaf. Her slender figure was suffused with the radiance of the moon and stars, and her figure floated above a bamboo leaf. The scene within her was extremely special. An ocean of stars was obliterated while the sun and moon fell, and it was describing a particularly terrifying grand Tao. Recovering from destruction and awakening from silence, it seemed to be pursuing a brand new great Tao of the origin of life. Back then, when I brought Bamboo Moon back, I placed her in Sky Bamboo Mountain. After all, she had cultivated the giant bamboo phenomenon. But what I didn't expect was that the giant bamboo would come back to life and help Bamboo Moon recover from her injuries. It even evolved a Tao to pass on to her. This is our race's Pearl's opportunity. In the future, we might be able to get a glimpse of a supreme orthodoxy from this giant bamboo. We might even have a chance to reach the immortal realm. The words of the Sky Bamboo Almighty surprised Su Yen. He said, "Sky Bamboo Almighty, what is an immortal? Is it a realm above the Almighty realm?" Hearing this, the Sky Bamboo Almighty nodded and said, "In the era when the immortal realm didn't appear, people forgot about this realm. Over time, the immortal realm was called a taboo realm. It's a realm that isn't allowed to appear. This realm isn't the taboo realm, but the immortal realm." The Sky Bamboo Almighty said calmly, "What is the immortal realm? I don't know. The only thing I know about this realm is whether it can really be immortal. Of course, the immortal realm can produce large amounts of immortal matter. Perhaps this realm is called the immortal realm. Almighty, absolute Almighty. Above that is the immortal realm," Su Yen exclaimed. It turned out that the taboo realm was just a title. In fact, this realm was the immortal realm. Wait. Su Yen was puzzled. Immortal means that the physical body is immortal. Is breaking through to the immortal realm closely related to the physical body? Could it be that this domain is truly immortal? Su Yan's words made the Sky Bamboo Almighty smile bitterly. Who knew? They didn't even know how to break through. In short, even if one could break through to the immortal realm, before the universe's environment returned, who could go against the heavens? Although the Tao Temple's Almighty had broken through to this realm, how she did it was a mystery. Perhaps. Su Yen looked at the giant bamboo. Perhaps he could get the answer from it. Su Yen. He walked over step by step. His figure passed through layers of spacetime cracks and walked toward a former taboo realm. The Sky Bamboo Almighty didn't go. He stood in the distance and waited, full of anticipation. Su Yan's steps were steady, and he was also full of anticipation. This was a taboo realm that couldn't accept his worship. Su Yan wanted to know why. Soon, he approached and appeared in front of the giant bamboo. He looked at Bamboo Moon, who was floating on the bamboo leaves. He didn't call out to Bamboo Moon because Su Yen noticed that Bamboo Moon had entered a deep state of enlightenment. Her realm should be close to the realm of Almighties. She couldn't be interrupted because of his arrival. I wonder when Bamboo Moon will enter the realm of Almighties. Su Yen took a deep breath and looked at the giant bamboo. He suddenly said, "Senior, you should have a will. Why aren't you willing to come out and see me? Is it because I'm too weak?" The Sky Bamboo Almighty only knew that the giant bamboo had given him 9 bamboo leaves. He didn't know that the giant bamboo couldn't accept his worship. Therefore, Su Yen believed that the giant bamboo definitely had a will. Although he didn't know why the giant bamboo wasn't willing to awaken its will, Su Yen was confident that he could awaken it. However, the giant bamboo didn't respond to his calls. Su Yen frowned slightly. Finally, he kowtowed to the giant bamboo. However, before his knees touched the ground, he sensed that the giant bamboo was reviving. Wisps of ancient psyche aura surged out. "It's true!" Su Yan's psyche shook. The giant bamboo was alive. It even emitted a will that stopped Su Yen from kowtowing. "Senior, you really do have a will." Su Yen looked up at the giant bamboo and said, "But why aren't you willing to communicate with me? I'm here mainly because of the kindness you showed me in the past. The 9 bamboo leaves helped me reconstruct my body. I'll never forget that." Sigh. A sigh sounded. It was enough to affect a person's mind. Even someone as strong as Su Yan's essence soul was affected. He felt that the world was withering and that life was approaching death. Su Yan's mind was tense. This giant bamboo was truly an immortal, a taboo creature that could penetrate the heavens and penetrate the earth. A single sigh from it could affect a person's mind and will. However, if he were to face an immortal, it would truly be a kind of despair. Come in. Suddenly, above the giant bamboo, a bamboo leaf shone. It turned into a space-time vortex that enveloped Su Yen. Su Yen didn't resist. He didn't even have the means to resist. This was immortal energy. It suppressed all life in the universe. In front of immortal energy, all life forms existed in vain. Strictly speaking, immortal energy had already surpassed the energy that the universe could bear. This was an unattainable domain. Once one penetrated into this domain, they would be incomparably powerful. Su Yen was directly swallowed up by the space-time vortex. He arrived in a mysterious world. But it really was a world in a single flower. The world within the bamboo leaf was vast, with no end in sight. However, the inside was dusky and he couldn't see clearly. But Su Yen could see that in the distant world, there was a giant bamboo phantom. It was filled with immortal heavenly might. Su Yan's mind surged. Although he had lived with his prehistoric big brother for a period of time, seeing an immortal still made his heart surge. Junior Su Yen greets Senior. Su Yen respectfully walked forward and bowed. At this time, a strange power flowed out, covering Su Yan's body. For a short period of time, he felt as if his body was sealed. Su Yan's body resisted on its own, wanting to tear apart the seal. But before his body could erupt, the seal dispersed. But a war banner that Su Yen had hidden on his body floated out and flew into the depths of the dusky world. Senior, you. Su Yan's eyes widened. They had just met, but this person had already snatched away his supreme treasure. This was a bit unreasonable. Moreover, this flag had a very special meaning to Su Yen. The Celestial Emperor's war banner had helped Su Yen resolve many dangers. It was one of the most important treasures on Su Yan's body. The Celestial Emperor's war banner flew into the depths of the dusky world. This ancient war banner arrived in front of the giant bamboo phantom. In the depths of the dusky world, a pair of blurry eyes opened. They were looking at the Celestial Emperor's war banner. The atmosphere here was a bit quiet. Su Yen also didn't continue speaking. After a long time, the giant bamboo phantom said, "Do you know what it represents?" It was hard to tell whether the voice belonged to a man or a woman. It was full of vicissitudes and mysteriousness. Every word fell on Su Yan's mind, making him feel as if he couldn't control himself, and blurted out everything. Su Yen was moved. He concealed his spirit and qi, deeply feeling that the primordial spirit was too important. In front of an undying being, the slightest carelessness would affect him. If it was any other supreme being powerhouse, they would have revealed all of their secrets. A flag. Su Yen clenched his fists and said in a low voice, "It represents the celestial court, it represents the past glory." Past glory? The vicissitudes of life sounded, but there was a kind of sternness to it. Why is it called past glory? It is not just a flag, it also represents a legend and pride. It is the symbol of the race's status, eternal and everlasting. In the dusky world, ancient and majestic words echoed. It was as if an elder was reprimanding a junior. Soon, the topic of conversation changed. It's not just pride. This flag has recorded too many legends and glory. Since it hasn't been destroyed, those things are still there. You are the holder of this flag, but you don't understand it. When you truly control it, you will understand what this flag represents and what it means. The words were like thunder, exploding in the depths of Su Yan's soul, as if it was interrogating his soul. Su Yan was a bit absent-minded. He said, "Just because of this flag? So senior, only the most tenacious warrior in the world is qualified to control it." The giant bamboo phantom's voice sounded. "Although you are much stronger than last time, it is still not enough. A catastrophe is coming and all life will suffer. This world will soon cease to exist." Hearing this, Su Yan's heart trembled. This was a taboo, and it was very serious. Would the universe really be destroyed and all life would be doomed? Would everything in front of him, including the entire universe, be destroyed? Su Yan's heart raced, but he still asked, could it be that even immortals can't stop the disaster? Senior, are you a creature of our world? You must be extremely powerful. Did you participate in the prehistoric war? I did. The giant bamboo was silent for a long time and finally said, I am just one of the little bamboos under the primogeniture. I fought for some rain and dew and grew strong. I don't represent anything. I was also seriously injured in the prehistoric war. I can't help much. Su Yan's heart was in turmoil. The news he received was too shocking. Who was the primogenitor it spoke of? How powerful was it? Was it the creator of the sky bamboo lineage? Since it participated in the prehistoric war, it meant that it had protected the Xian Wang universe. Boom! The sound of thunder exploded. The giant bamboo was burning, and the ancient fluctuations of the river of time surged. It spread far and wide. However, Su Yan saw a shocking scene. After the giant bamboo there was another bamboo. It was very small, sparkling and translucent. It was a green bamboo. The green bamboo grew strong. It had experienced a long period of time and experienced the great calamity of the heavens. In the end, it turned into a giant bamboo that covered the sky, carrying the heavens. It was too high to reach. Su Yan caught an emperor's might. It was too majestic. The primogenitor bamboo was resurrected and stood in an ancient time, as if it represented the heavens, eternity and immortality. I am the sky bamboo. There was also a dignified voice that exploded. It seemed to have shaken apart the long river of time and transmitted into this world. This was the birth of a clan name. It also indicated that Sky Bamboo was one and not two clans. The almighty Sky Bamboo's conjecture was wrong. However, after that, Su Yan discovered that the Sky Bamboo had weakened and was rapidly turning yellow. It was a terrifying change. Su Yan seemed to hear billions of creatures crying. The impact was too shocking. It was as if something real was happening in front of him. Chapter 1280. Darkness has appeared. Following that, Su Yan was horrified. He discovered that the fluctuations of darkness had begun to erode the Sky Bamboo. Had the ancestor of the Sky Bamboo lineage died in battle? Had he been killed by the darkness? Just how powerful was the darkness? Even the ancestor of the Sky Bamboo lineage could not resist it and had fallen in a certain era. It was unknown how long it had been. At this moment, Su Yan understood. The cruel problem that their world would face in the future was not a powerful enemy from outside, nor was it the threat of an undying. Instead, it was something even crueler. The darkness had once again descended upon the world. This caused Su Yan to panic. When this day arrived, who could resist it? Even the waves before the great calamity arrived did not have the strength to resist it. Then, could the darkness of the future be resisted? Su Yan clenched his fists, his chest heaving up and down. Was he afraid? Was he afraid? The enemy was still in the future. He could already see the despair of the future. Even the universe would be destroyed, and all life would be foreshadowed by death and withering. The phenomenon of my ancestral blood. The giant bamboo was silent for a long time before slowly saying, "A great problem has appeared in the world. The future calamity will be terrifying. I don't know how many spacetimes it will affect, but in this girl I can see the resurrection of destruction. Perhaps she can rise up in the future." Senior, you mean that in the future, Bamboo Moon will have the ability to resist the darkness? Su Yan's expression changed. For an undying to comment on Bamboo Moon like this, it meant that she was extraordinary. This was closely related to the prehistoric Big Brother. My race was born with a deficiency, making it extremely difficult for us to cultivate. This is the sorrow of plants and trees. My ancestors' strength was great enough to create the Sky Bamboo lineage. I have almost forgotten the matters of the distant past, but every human cultivator that can give birth to a Sky Bamboo seed is a blessing for my race. The giant bamboo said, "This girl has obtained a special opportunity. In the future, she might be able to embark on a great path to the heavens. But time is too short. After so many years, I finally found her. If the future calamity arrives, I will take this girl away." Hearing this, Su Yan's heart was filled with mixed feelings. An immortal who had participated in the prehistoric war had lost his fighting spirit. He did not think that the black-yellow universe could still win. This was no longer a personal problem. The universe was already on the brink of destruction. Although it had stopped the darkening for some special reason, this day would come back sooner or later. Many years ago, when the chaos ruins were covered in darkness, didn't it indicate that this day was about to arrive? Su Yan was somewhat bewildered. Since the taboos had already done so, they had to withdraw and distance themselves from the disaster. Then what were they still doing here? Waiting for death? Su Yan could leave and stay away from the calamity. He might even be able to leave the dark universe through the Emperor's Road and go to a faraway place to avoid the calamity. But in his confusion, Su Yan suddenly looked at the celestial Dharch battle banner. His heart calmed down in an instant. He held the celestial Emperor battle flag and tried to feel its existence again. It must have been used by the most tenacious soldiers of the celestial court to protect the universe, protect their home, and protect the origin of their lives. If I leave, what will happen to my tribe, my people, and my loved ones? Su Yan held the celestial Emperor battle flag. He could not leave. The old leader could use his strongest arm to shelter the tribe from the wind and rain. He was not afraid of anything and would suddenly die in battle. Then he could do it too. Su Yan looked at the giant bamboo again. He was not disappointed. Everyone had their own choice, but Su Yan had already made a major choice. "You can go." The giant bamboo did not want to say anything more. The gray world was completely silent as everything fell into hibernation. Su Yan was swept out and appeared outside. He looked at the withered giant bamboo and said, "If I don't try, how will I know? Since the celestial Emperor battle flag has chosen me, I will not let it down. Sooner or later, I will bring it to a glorious battle." In the future, even if he was a small boat in the world's catastrophe, he could be crushed at any time. But Su Yan still wanted to try. He did not believe in fate. He only believed in himself. Su Yan strode out of the barren land and arrived in the outside world. The Sky Bamboo powerhouse quickly came over and asked about Su Yan, full of anticipation. Su Yan hesitated for a moment. He could only say that he had tried, but he had not received a response. Sigh. The Sky Bamboo powerhouse sighed. What would happen to the tribe in the future would depend on what would happen in the future. No one could say what the universe would experience. "I have to go. There are many things I need to do." Su Yan looked into the distance. He wanted to make a trip to the Tao Church. First, it was for the one spirit into three pure ones. Second, it was for the primal chaos pagoda. He hoped that he could obtain the answer he wanted. This was because Su Yan felt that the universe's seal and the loss of its origins had a great deal to do with the primal chaos pagoda. And all of this was related to the Tao Church's taboo. If he could communicate with the taboo, he might be able to find out when the universe's environment would return. This was very important. As for when the darkness would return, it really depended on how long the 9 great celestial mountains could withstand it. He was now almost certain that the 9 great celestial mountains were suppressing the origin of darkness. Su Yan has left the Sky Bamboo lineage. Some of the onlookers in the outside world were shocked to see a person calmly walk out and cross a territory. His speed was too fast, crossing rivers and mountains with each step. Even the powerhouses could not catch up with Su Yan's footsteps. People were amazed. How many years had it been? Su Yan was now ranked among the strongest in the universe. In a short few decades, Su Yan alone could intimidate a supreme sect. He had really cultivated to the pinnacle domain. Although he had not yet stepped into the realm of absolute powerhouses, Su Yen was not far away from this stage. Powerhouses were generally categorized into ordinary, pinnacle, and absolute powerhouses. Actually, the strength of a powerhouse was greatly related to the universe's origin. The deeper one's understanding of the universe's origin, the stronger one's combat power. And only powerhouses who could completely control the universe's origin could be called absolute powerhouses. In fact, the universe had declined and been sealed, and there was almost no origin energy left. The powerhouses who walked out of this spacetime were simply not strong enough. Even if they broke through in the immortal graveyard, it was not enough because the universe lacked the most important material, which was the universe's origin, the origin of the universe. But Su Yen had seen countless amounts of black-yellow origin in the Chaos Pagoda. To break through and become an absolute powerhouse, Su Yen had to make a trip to the Chaos Pagoda to see what secrets were hidden in the depths of the Chaos Pagoda. But the Chaos Pagoda was too evil. Su Yen wanted to go to the Tao Church to find out what the Chaos Pagoda was, why there was such a huge amount of origin energy, and whether it had anything to do with the universe's seal. A figure from the Sky Bamboo lineage walked step by step toward the Tao Church. Along the way, his aura became more and more terrifying, surging more and more violently. In the end, it led to a terrifying scene. Large regions trembled one after another as boundless blood energy surged, drowning out large regions. That figure swallowed up the primordial chaos, his magic power overflowing into the heavens. He even emitted a terrifying power of the great Tao, causing the universe to resonate with him. A terrifying aura filled the air, intimidating all sects. Too many ancient races, those old antiques and powerhouses were silent. This person was too powerful in the end. He could sweep away all enemies in the world as long as they weren't immortals. No one could fight him. What a terrifying man. Su Yen is invincible. He's not just invincible. No one in the world dares to compete with him. He has truly achieved supremacy. All living beings trembled as they gazed at that terrifying figure in the distance. Truly, all thoughts were burning. With such a terrifying person in the world, who would be able to dominate the world in the future? At this moment, people felt that what Overlord, what Young Supreme, what Ingjie of the heavens, they all dimmed in comparison. Only that person could look down on all living beings. He was known as the Emperor of Men and aspired to rule the world. Why is this guy causing such a commotion? Far away in the Tao Palace, even this ancient orthodoxy could feel the pressure. Kong Xian rubbed his bald head. He truly felt that Su Yen was too powerful now. In the entire flourishing age, no one could fight him. He's probably intimidating all the orthodoxies. Iron Rooster said, Su Yen hasn't stepped into the realm of supreme powerhouses yet, and the universe's calamity is coming soon. He'll definitely be in seclusion for a long time to explore his own path and even his future path. Vice Principal Jean Yu nodded. In the future, this path would definitely take a long time to research. How many years had Su Yen cultivated? He had plenty of time to cultivate and comprehend the Tao. Since Su Yen was preparing to enter seclusion, it would definitely take a long time. When he approached the Tao Palace, Su Yen discovered that cultivators from various races had gathered outside the Tao Palace. This made him notice a group of powerhouses proficient in the profundity of lightning. Su Yan's eyes flashed with a cold light. It was intimidating. Many people were afraid and did not dare to look Su Yen in the eye. These tribes had some conflicts with Su Yen. Although they did not go to war, these things had become a thorn in their hearts. Now, Su Yen had shocked the world by attacking the Ancestral Hall and the Sealed Heaven region. He had even forced the Sealed Heaven region to lower their heads and give up countless treasures. Of the 4 peak tribes that besieged the buried region, only Su Yen did not go to the Chaos Valley. The Dark Nether tribe had also paid a heavy price because of their old leader's attack. The 3 peak tribes had lost their dignity. In the Chaos Valley, the 8 scions had fallen, leaving only the 5th scion of Chaos. In short, the 4 peak tribes had suffered a crushing defeat, and their dignity had been greatly damaged. Su Yen was now the ruler of the world with boundless divine power. How could they not be shocked? How could they not be terrified? Iron Rooster flew out and said with a sinister smile, "They're here to congratulate you on stepping into the realm of supreme powerhouses. They've brought a generous gift with great weight. These people wanted to spend money to settle this matter. They would definitely bleed a lot." Su Yen shook his head slightly. He really did not think much of the He family and the other tribes. Of course, he would not let them off easily. Su Yen looked at Uncle Kong. Uncle Kong immediately understood and walked over with a stern face. If they did not let them spend a lot of money, they would not let this matter go easily. Deputy Deans. Su Yan's gaze fell on Shang Li and the others. He walked over and cupped his hands. "Back then, I was heavily injured and struggling on the verge of death. I am indebted to the Tao Hall for helping me. It's all in the past. Why are you still mentioning it?" Deputy Dean Jean Yu smiled. "How can I not mention it?" Shang Li rolled her eyes and said to Su Yen, "The 9 transformations spirit restoration pill cost me more than half of my wealth. Since you're a supreme powerhouse now, you can't forget it." "How could I?" Su Yen smiled brightly and took out one of the 2 divine medicines that he had dug out from the Tao Hall. He even took out a batch of rare medicines and handed them over. "Back then, the powerhouses of my tribe left in a hurry. Please accept these, Deputy Dean." "That's more like it." Shang Li did not stand on ceremony and accepted it directly. Then, she smiled and said, "But if you want to thank someone, thank my good disciple, Ya-un." Su Yen also noticed the woman in blue standing behind Deputy Dean Shang Li. The 2 of them looked at each other and smiled knowingly. "Su Yen," Kong Xian said from the side, "you must have other matters to discuss with us this time, right? I want to meet the forbidden senior of the Tao Hall." Su Yen did not hide it and said it directly. Chapter 1281. Su Yen explained his intentions. Kong Xian was not surprised. He just shook his head and said, "Su Yen, you're too late. The Taoist temple's forbidden area has been closed. I don't know when it will open again." "Closed?" Su Yen frowned. "Who would dare to barge into the forbidden area?" The 6th son of Chaos had caused trouble in the Taoist temple and had been beheaded by the forbidden sword embryo. Immortals were too strong, and the forbidden area had been sealed without leaving any information behind. This made Kong Xian and the others even more afraid to barge in. The consequences of angering the forbidden area were dire. "Su Yen, the 1 Qi into 3 pure ones must be approved by the forbidden area before it can be passed to you." Miser transmitted his voice to Su Yen. "Moreover, even if the 2 incomplete secret arts can be combined into one to create the complete 1 Qi into 3 pure ones, it's impossible for you to deduce it with your strength." Su Yen was not surprised. The most powerful theurgy in history was shocking. Su Yan's skills were unfathomable, but it was impossible for him to perfect the 2 incomplete arts. There was only hope if the forbidden area was involved. "In that case," Su Yen said with a wry smile, "is the Taoist temple's Fairy Zixia around?" It was Fairy Zixia who had urged Su Yen to go to the Hell Temple. 1 drop of the immortal blood essence that Fairy Zixia had given Su Yen should have come from the forbidden area of the Taoist temple. This meant that Fairy Zixia had an unusual relationship with the forbidden area of the Taoist temple. Finding her might be able to help him. Shang Li was surprised. "Why are you looking for her? It's said that Fairy Zixia hasn't shown her face for a year or 2. We don't know where she is either." Su Yen had a bold guess. Could Fairy Zixia be the incarnation of the forbidden area? He felt that it was very likely. Otherwise, how could she have the immortal blood, the forbidden area of the Taoist temple? But the people Su Yen was looking for had sealed their Taoist temple and disappeared. Su Yen felt a headache coming on. Liang Yan smiled and said, Su Yan, do you have something urgent to do? The Dao Hall's taboo is to go into seclusion, but it doesn't have to stay in seclusion forever. Why don't you stay as a guest in the Dao Hall? I can wait, but I don't know how long I have to wait. Su Yan was helpless. He didn't have the ability to force his way into the forbidden Dao field. Although he could stay here and wait, he really couldn't afford to wait. Su Yan had a strong sense of urgency. The pressure from the future was slowly approaching them. By the way, Yan. Su Yan looked at him with embarrassment. What happened? Liang Yan was also gazing at Su Yan. Her limpid eyes flowed with ripples that tugged at one's heartstrings. She was truly as gentle as water, dignified and beautiful. She was like a resplendent pearl that was blooming with magnificence. Su Yan found it hard to speak, but in the end, he chuckled and said, Earth lotion, do you have any extra? Ahem, Shangli choked on Su Yan's words and said with a dark face, I almost forgot. The earth lotion that has been nurtured for 1,000,000 years is too precious. It's not easy to get it. Su Yan, although you and my disciple have some friendship, but, Master. Liang Yan was anxious. She didn't ask Su Yan to compensate her in any way. Kong Xian and the others smiled mysteriously. Judging from Shang Li's words, the earth lotion had to be exchanged. But if there was a share of the earth lotion, it would be very different. Su Yan was now an invincible almighty, an existence that intimidated the forbidden zone. As long as he opened his mouth, the pearls of all the major clans in the world would be at his fingertips. Su Yan blushed and said, The earth lotion is too rare. Even the sealed heaven domain doesn't have it. You can see how precious it is. I went to the Taoist temple and obtained the incomplete I Chi turning 3 pure ones. Yan, have you cultivated the incomplete I Chi turning 3 pure ones? Liang Yan was stunned. As for Kong Xian and the others, their eyes were wide open as they stared at Su Yan. It was as if they were looking at a moving treasure trove. Their hearts couldn't take it anymore. Su Yan had obtained the incomplete I Chi turning 3 pure ones from the Taoist temple. This was too important. If they could combine it with the incomplete I Chi turning 3 pure ones, they might be able to deduce the complete I Chi turning 3 pure ones. I haven't studied it yet. Liang Yan shook her head. Su Yan said regretfully, You should be qualified to cultivate it, right? When you have mastered the incomplete I Chi turning 3 pure ones, I will give you the Taoist temple's incomplete I Chi turning 3 pure ones. You might be able to cultivate the strongest divine ability in history. The strongest in history. These words were too heavy. Deputy Dean Jin Yu and the others couldn't sit still. Their eyes were as red as lanterns. Naturally, they also had the incomplete I Chi turning 3 pure ones and wanted to borrow Su Yan's incomplete I Chi turning 3 pure ones to study. But this secret art was too precious. They couldn't bring themselves to ask for it. Su Yan, this incomplete I Chi turning 3 pure ones. Kong Xian rubbed his hands and found it hard to speak. If you want to deduce the 2 great incomplete I Chi turning 3 pure ones, you will need the help of a taboo. Su Yan's words gave Deputy Dean Jin Yu and the others a headache. Then, Su Yan said to Deputy Dean Shangli, I risked my life to dig out this secret art from the ancestral hall. If Senior can give me a portion of the earth lotion, I can let you borrow the incomplete I Chi turning 3 pure ones over. My good disciple, hurry up and take out the earth lotion. Shangli hurriedly asked her disciple. The earth lotion was precious, but exchanging it for the I Chi turning 3 pure ones was a great deal. It's gone, Liang Yan said with a red face. Back then, she had accidentally dug it out from the immortal graveyard. But Su Yan had used it all. She didn't have any left. What? Shangli stared and said, You useless girl. If I want it, it's gone. Liang Yan curled her lips and felt a little wronged. But it was really gone. Back then, she had used it all on Su Yan. She didn't have a single drop left. Then, she said to Su Yan, I'll go to the immortal graveyard and take a look. Maybe I can find it nearby. Shang Li almost fainted from anger. Did you figure it out? I'm the one asking you for it. It's a wasted trip. Deputy Dean Jean Yu shook his head and said, The earth lotion takes the good fortune of heaven and earth. It gathers the essence of the territory into one furnace. There won't be any extra earth lotion in the vicinity. When you dug it out, the area should have withered, right? Liang Yan nodded. It was really so. After all, this thing was precious. Liang Yan had also searched for it in the vicinity, but found nothing. Su Yen, you are now an 8th level Great Grandmaster. It's not difficult for you to dig up some earth lotion between heaven and earth, right? Kong Xian said. Although Su Yen had the ability to dig up this kind of treasure, it needed a million-year-old treasure. It was too difficult to find, and the hope was extremely slim. Stingy rooster, I'll have to trouble you to make a trip. At this time, Su Yen took out a large number of heaven and earth treasures. He wanted Stingy Rooster to go to the Z family. Now, he could only let the Cosmos Business Alliance search for the earth lotion. With the ability of the Cosmos Business Alliance, it was much faster than digging all over the world. In addition, he asked Stingy Rooster to make a trip to the Milky Way to inform the family of his movements and hand over his resources to the family. Don't worry, I'll go to the Z family in person and let them help you find the earth lotion. At the same time, I'll give them a warning. Stingy Rooster shouted excitedly. It was really different with a top business alliance. Instead of Su Yen searching for the earth lotion all over the world, it was really better to let the Cosmos Business Alliance work and search for the earth lotion all over the world. He believed that with the Cosmos Business Alliance's search, it wouldn't take long for the earth lotion to be brought to Su Yen. After all, if the series of puppets could successfully evolve to the immortal level, it would be of great help to Su Yen in the future. Vice President Jean Yu and the others stared. The Cosmos Business Alliance was helping Su Yen? This made them particularly surprised. Shang Li was also anxious. The strongest magical power in history was expensive, not to mention the I-Chi into San Qing. However, they couldn't take out the earth lotion, and they didn't know if Su Yen would let them borrow the remnant chapters of the Ancestral Hall. However, when Shang Li saw Liang Yan, she suddenly felt relieved. With her good disciple here, there was no need to worry about not being able to get the remnant chapters of the Ancestral Hall. However, if they wanted to deduce the complete secret technique from the 2 remnant chapters, they would need the help of the Taboo Realm. Su Yen. Kong Xian chuckled. Although the purple bamboo forest is closed, the Taboo Realm didn't leave a decree forbidding anyone from approaching. Actually, when you return from the Hell Hall, the Taboo Realm has been keeping an eye on you. How about this? You make a trip to the purple bamboo forest. If you can enter, it'll be your opportunity. If not, you can only wait. But that's against the rules. Vice President Jean Yu was in a difficult position. This is a serious matter. We can make an exception. Kong Xian didn't care. He believed that the Taboo Realm valued the remnant chapters of the I-Chi into San Qing greatly. Shang Li and the others thought about it seriously and felt that it was worth a try. They could make Su Yen make an exception. Don't worry, my friends. I'll just make a trip there. I won't violate the rules of the purple bamboo forest. In any case, if I can see the Taboo Realm, I'll definitely hand over the remnant chapters of the I-Chi into San Qing. I believe that the Taboo Realm won't reject this deal. Su Yen said. He didn't want to waste too much time in the Taoist temple, because Su Yan's next goal was the Chaos Tower. The 3 vice presidents discussed among themselves and nodded. Shang Li reminded him worriedly, if you can't do it, you should retreat. The purple bamboo forest is guarded by a Taboo Realm treasure. Don't try anything funny, or we won't be able to save you. Thank you. I won't do anything rash. I think I should make a trip there now. Su Yen looked at the purple bamboo forest. He was looking forward to whether he could enter it. He walked toward the purple bamboo forest step by step. the mysterious bamboo forest, the Taoist temple's forbidden ground, the place where an undying being secluded. Su Yan's figure was gradually covered by the clouds and mist, and he disappeared without a trace. The bamboo forest was vast and rooted in space-time. It surged with the tide of life and emitted auspicious signs of the great Tao. Don't trespass. When Su Yan was about to step into the purple bamboo forest, he tensed up. The bamboo forest in front of him changed. It was as if millions of sword embryos were unsheathing their undying power and were about to pierce through Su Yan. Even someone as strong as Su Yan felt a piercing pain in his body. He was alarmed. This purple bamboo forest was too powerful. It was much more terrifying than the sealed heaven region's protective formation. This was definitely a domain set up by a taboo. Sigh, it seems like there's no hope. Su Yan sighed. He turned his head and was about to leave, however, Su Yan's body stiffened. Under the influence of the purple bamboo forest's aura, Su Yan's head blazed and revived. He seemed to have transformed into a grand and ancient pagoda. The Hall of Hell's aura in my body has been drawn out by the purple bamboo forest. What's going on? Su Yan's expression changed slightly. His body was somewhat out of control. The Hall of Hell's aura was being released. Boom! A loud explosion shocked Su Yan. He turned his head abruptly and looked at the purple bamboo forest again. Su Yan's expression changed again. The purple bamboo forest seemed to have disappeared. It was hazy and was about to return to nothingness. When the huge bamboo forest completely collapsed, a figure suddenly walked out from the distant space-time zone. Su Yan felt a headache coming on. His primordial spirit was palpitating. This figure was too shocking. It was as if he had transcended the past, present, and future. Accompanied by a pressure that transcended the river of time, he seemed to be a supreme being that had returned from ancient times. His figure approached from afar. It was as if he had come from prehistoric times. He descended between heaven and earth like a supreme being of the universe. His Tao was immeasurable. Old village chief, Su Yan exclaimed. His eyes almost popped out of their sockets. The person who appeared in front of him was both unfamiliar and familiar. However, when he looked carefully, he realized that it was the old village chief of Zhang village. Su Yan's heart was in turmoil. How could this be? The old village chief of Zhang village was a taboo of the Tao Church? Chapter 1282. The purple bamboo forest disappeared, and was replaced by a figure that approached from afar and appeared in front of Su Yan. The impact of this scene on Su Yan was too great. This slightly old figure, dressed in plain clothes, crossed the long river of time and space, with a wisp of prehistoric oppression, and descended between heaven and earth. He was really like the supreme master of the universe, powerful and boundless, and it was difficult to see through his depth. There was even an immeasurable power that surged out, as if it was going to fill the entire universe and dominate the world. Su Yan felt incredulous. This was impossible, it was too illogical. If the taboo of the Tao Palace was Zixia Fairy, he was no exception. But if the taboo of the Tao Palace was the old village chief of the Zhang family village, Su Yan's root. This chapter is trying to be updated. Please refresh later. Handsome man and beautiful woman visiting on the phone. Please register a member first. Register a member of this site and use the bookmark function of the bookshelf to read more conveniently. If this chapter is nonsense like the author asking for votes, please skip it and continue to the next chapter. Please save this page first so that it is convenient to read later, otherwise, you won't be able to find this chapter later. Recommended Great God Author Lin Yu and Jiang Yan, City. Best Son-in-Law Lin Yu and Jiang Yan %3A %2F 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 18% 2F 18289% 2F Content Summary. Before Master left, he left Wen Tian a life-saving mantra that was the sex trump card. He said that if he practiced diligently, there would be a miraculous effect. P.S. All the spells, Tao formulas, cultivation methods, secret skills, and so on in this book came from the sect's secret collection. Those who are not true disciples should not practice them. Remember, be careful, be careful. Percent E3%, 80%, 80%, E6%, 9C%, 80%, E4% BD%, B3%, E5%, A5%, B3%, E5%, A9% BF%, E6%, 9E%, 97%, E7% B% BD%, E6% B1%, 9F%, E9%, A2%, 9C. E8% BD%, AC%, E9%, 80%, 81%, E9%, 97%, A8%, E5%, 9C%, B0%, E5%, 9D%, 80%, YF%, BC%, 9A%, 3A%, 2F%, 2F%, 2FBOOK%, 2F, 18%, 2F, 18289%, 2F%. 0A%, 0A%, E3%, 80%, 80%, E3%, 80%, 80%, 3A%, 2F%, 2F%, 2FBOOK%, 2F, 18%, 2F, 18289%, 2F%, 0A%, 0A%, E3%, 80%, 80%, E3%, 80%, 80%, E5%, 86%, 85%, E. 5% AE% B9% E8% AF% 95% E8% AF% BB% YF% BC% 9A% 3A% 2F% 2F% 2FBOOK% 2F 18% 2F 18289%. Chapter Witnessing his own cremation. I'm sorry, we've tried our best. Prepare for your funeral. The doctor's voice was very soft outside the ward, but Lin Yu heard it clearly. Perhaps people's hearing would become particularly sensitive before they died. Especially his mother's cries, they were exceptionally sharp. Lin Yu was not the first to sacrifice his life for a just cause. He didn't regret it, but he felt sorry for his mother. His father died early, and his mother raised him single-handedly. He didn't know how much she had suffered. Now that he was admitted to the People's Hospital of Qinghai City with excellent results, his life with his mother was about to brighten up. He didn't expect such an accident to happen. God damn it. Good people really didn't have good karma. Lin Yu cursed in a low voice. His eyelids couldn't hold on any longer, and he slowly closed them. My son. A mournful cry suddenly woke Lin Yu up. He opened his eyes and found that he was standing at the end of the bed, and his mother was crying loudly on the bed. Mom, why are you crying? Aren't I here perfectly fine? Lin Yu was overjoyed, thinking that he had magically recovered. He reached out to pat his mother, but found that his hand actually went through his mother's body. His mother didn't have any reaction. She was still crying on the bed. Lin Yu's expression changed. He looked up and saw that he was still lying on the bed. His face was dry and green. Obviously, he was no longer alive. I'm dead? Lin Yu looked down at himself standing at the end of the bed. He found that his body was a little pale and slightly transparent. Lin Yu was shocked. So a person really had a soul after death. New Year's Eve was released on the Chinese website. No matter what he said or did, his mother couldn't feel it. With the help of the nurse, his mother reluctantly put on Lin Yu's shroud. Then, the nurse moved his body into the funeral car. His mother got into the car and sat beside his body. She held his hand tightly, and tears kept flowing from her red and swollen eyes. Don't worry. I'll go down to accompany you as soon as I'm done here. For her son was her everything. Her son was dead, and there was no meaning for her to live in this world. Lin Yu panicked when he heard that his mother wanted to commit suicide. He imitated the scene in the movies and lay on the corpse. However, it didn't work. Every time he sat up, only his soul was left. The car soon arrived at the crematorium. After paying, the staff put on a simple makeup for Lin Yu and gave his mother a number plate. Then, the crematorium staff pushed Lin Yu's body to the crematorium. No. When the crematorium staff pushed his body into the crematorium, Lin Yu broke down instantly. As his body burned, Lin Yu felt that his consciousness was weakening. There were countless faint light spots on his body that were dissipating in all directions. His soul was also slowly fading. At the same time, another world began to flash in front of his eyes. What he saw was endless darkness, mixed with red flames and shrill screams. Hell! This was the first thought that flashed through Lin Yu's consciousness. A strong sense of fear engulfed him instantly. His soul subconsciously bumped around in the air. The light spots were still floating out of his soul, and the speed was getting faster and faster. The world of hell in his eyes was getting clearer and clearer. He could hear a mysterious and hoarse voice calling out to him from below. At this moment, Lin Yu's body in the crematorium was almost completely burned. In the ashes, a jade pendant suddenly glowed brightly in the raging fire. This was what Lin Yu's grandfather left him when he passed away. He had been wearing it since he was young. When he was wearing his shroud, his mother deliberately did not take it off. The pendant glowed brighter and brighter. Then, with a bang, it broke. A wisp of green light rushed out of the pendant and attached itself to Lin Yu's soul. Then, an old voice sounded in his mind, "I am your ancestor's saint. From today onwards, you are my successor. You will receive my medical skills. You will practice medicine to help the world and save others and yourself." Then, the voice dissipated. A huge amount of information suddenly flooded Lin Yu's mind. Medical skills, cultivation methods, and some of his ancestors' travel experiences all rushed into Lin Yu's mind. Lin Yu felt very excited as he read the information in his mind. It was as if he had opened the door to a new world. However, this excitement was fleeting. What was the use of receiving the inheritance of the secret skill? He was already a dead man who was about to go to hell. As this thought flashed through his mind, a memory related to the resurrection technique suddenly popped up in Lin Yu's mind. The memory showed that through the resurrection technique, a person whose soul had not dissipated after death could be reborn. However, Lin Yu's physical body had already turned into ashes in the fire. Fortunately, there was a record of the resurrection technique for a damaged physical body. When the physical body is destroyed, turn into a ghost. Find a living body and attach yourself to it. Lin Yu took a deep breath. It meant that if his physical body was damaged and he wanted to be reborn, he could only turn into a ghost through the resurrection technique and find someone else's physical body to possess. In the human consciousness, ghosts were the embodiment of evil. Moreover, if he possessed someone else's body, wouldn't it be equivalent to taking away their life? While he was hesitating, Lin Yu's soul had become fainter and fainter. All that was left was a phantom. The voice in his ear was also getting clearer. Lin Yu gritted his teeth. Looking at the corpses that were being pushed into the cremation hall, he suddenly had an idea. If dead people couldn't do it, then the living dead should work, right? A few minutes later, Lin Yu arrived at the largest vegetative care center in Qinghai City. Many vegetative people had no consciousness and would never wake up. They were only alive with their physical bodies. Lin Yu believed that if he chose this kind of person to possess, it wouldn't be considered as killing. At first, Lin Yu went from ward to ward to ward to find a suitable body. However, he realized that his consciousness was fainter and fainter. Soon, it would disappear completely. The call from hell was also getting more and more urgent. Xin 81 Chinese Network Update Computer // Lin Yu didn't have time to think. He targeted a male vegetative person in his 20s and chanted the resurrection technique. Suddenly, he turned into a wisp of white smoke and rushed into the body. "You can't escape." At the same time, the call in his ear suddenly turned into a shrill scream. Then, Lin Yu lost all consciousness. When Lin Yu woke up again, he only felt that the strong light was dazzling. It took him a while to adjust to it. He lowered his head and saw that he was lying in the ward. Success! Lin Yu was so excited that he almost screamed. He sat up abruptly and looked at his new body. He couldn't wait to tear off the needle in his hand. Then, he jumped off the bed. However, as soon as his feet touched the ground, his body staggered and fell to the ground. Perhaps because he had been lying down for a long time, the young man's muscles were slightly atrophied. Lin Yu staggered up and looked at the calendar on the wall. He realized that it was already the next day. Touching the bed and the wall, feeling the cold temperature from his hands, he felt like he was in a dream. He just died yesterday. He didn't expect to be resurrected today. After moving a little and adapting to his new body, he rushed out of the hospital impatiently. There was only one thing on his mind, which was to see his mother. At this time, the bun shop was crowded with people. More than 10 gangsters were clamoring for Lin Yu's mother to return the money. In order to perform the surgery for Lin Yu's mother was forced to borrow more than 100,000 yuan from Loan Shark. Knowing that Lin Yu was dead, the gangsters couldn't wait to collect the debt. "Don't worry, I'll sell the shop in a few days. I'll return the money to you when I get it. Please leave first." Lin Yu's mother begged with red and swollen eyes. She hoped to send them away as soon as possible. Her son had just passed away. She didn't want him to leave in peace. F***ck, how much is your rundown shop worth? Your son is dead. Once we leave, who will we ask for money if you run away? The leading gangster with yellow hair cursed. "Don't worry, I won't run away. I'll return the money to you as soon as I get it." "No, we have to get the money today no matter what." The yellow-haired gangster didn't give up. "But I really don't have any money now. You also know that I spent all my money in order to treat my son." Lin Yu's mother felt like her heart was being cut by a knife. There was a trace of pleading in her hoarse voice. "It's okay if you don't have money. How about this? You transfer the ownership of your rundown house to us. Consider it as paying off the debt." The yellow-haired gangster rolled his eyes and said his real purpose. Lin Yu's mother was slightly stunned. The house was left by Lin Yu's grandfather. Although it was a little old, it was in a good location. According to the current housing price in Qinghai, it could be sold for at least 2 or 3 million yuan. They were simply robbing her. But now that her son was dead, her home was gone. What was the point of keeping the house? Once she paid off the debt, she could leave with peace of mind. Thinking of this, Lin Yu's mother nodded in despair. Just when she was about to agree, an angry shout came from outside the door. "No. Our house is worth at least a few million yuan. You're robbing us." Then, Lin Yu rode his new body and rushed in. F***cku. Where did this bastard come from? It's none of your business. The yellow-haired gangster was furious. Looking at the hospital gown on Lin Yu, he thought that he was a lunatic who came out of nowhere. He rushed over and raised his hand to slap him. Lin Yu dodged subconsciously and reached out to push him. The yellow-haired gangster flew out instantly. He flew for 5 or 6 meters, drew an arc in the air, and fell on the table inside with a bang. "Kill him for me." The yellow-haired gangster covered his chest and screamed twice. Then, with an order, more than a dozen gangsters rushed up immediately. They surrounded Lin Yu and punched and kicked him. Lin Yu quickly raised his hand to fight back. New 81st Chinese Network. Then, there was a series of screams in the bun shop. The gangsters screamed again and again. More than a dozen gangsters attacked together, but they couldn't even touch the corner of Lin Yu's clothes. Lin Yu's punches and kicks hit them as if they were hit by a car. With just one punch, they couldn't get up from the pain. Lin Yu himself was extremely shocked. It was said that a person possessed by a ghost was extremely strong. He didn't expect it to be true. Moreover, these people's movements were very slow in his eyes. It was easy to dodge. "Call the police. Call the police." The yellow-haired gangster was frightened by the scene in front of him. He had seen people who were good at fighting, but he had never seen someone who was so good at fighting. He was simply inhuman. Hearing that they were going to call the police, Lin Yu's mother rushed over and grabbed Lin Yu's hand. She said anxiously, Young man, they're going to call the police. You should leave now. I'll take care of this. Mom, what are you saying? How can I leave you alone? Lin Yu was so happy that he was about to cry. It was great that he was still alive to see his mother. Hearing how he addressed her, his mother was slightly stunned. She looked at him blankly. Looking at his mother's eyes, Lin Yu suddenly realized that he was alive, but in a different body. His mother didn't recognize him at all. I'm sorry, Auntie. Seeing you reminded me of my mother, so I couldn't help but blurt it out. Please don't mind. Lin Yu was afraid that his mother would be frightened by his real identity, so he hurriedly made up a lie. It's okay, young man. You should leave now. We can't implicate you in our family's affairs, Lin Yu's mother said as she pushed him out. Lin Yu didn't answer. He picked up the chopsticks on the table and threw them at the yellow-haired gangster. With a bang, the chopsticks nailed the phone that the yellow-haired gangster had just pressed 110 to the wall. The yellow-haired gangster was so scared that his face turned pale. The chopsticks on the wall were only 1 centimeter away from his ear. If there was a slight deviation, it would be his head that was nailed to the wall. Help! Murder! Help! The yellow-haired gangster was so scared that he immediately screamed. There was an indescribable grievance in his voice. They were the ones who owed him money first. Stop yelling. I'll pay the money for Auntie Chin, Lin Yu said coldly. Since he was resurrected, these debts should be paid by him. Young man, how can you do that? This is the first time we've met. How can I let you pay the money for me? Lin Yu's mother looked at Lin Yu with some doubts. She didn't know why, but this young man gave her a feeling of déjà vu. She wasn't surprised that Lin Yu knew her surname. Many netizens knew that her son had sacrificed his life for a just cause. Her name and contact information had also been dug up. Many kind-hearted people wanted to send her son off, but she rejected them all. Okay, that's what you said. Then give us the money. The yellow-haired gangster didn't care why Lin Yu was paying the money for others. As long as he could get the money, his task would be completed. Give me 3 days, Lin Yu said. The yellow-haired gangster was speechless. Lin Yu said it so arrogantly. He thought that he could take out the money immediately. Why? You don't believe me? Lin Yu frowned when he saw that the yellow-haired gangster didn't speak. His tone was a little cold. I believe you. But big brother, can you tell me your name? Looking at Lin Yu's cold eyes, the yellow-haired gangster couldn't help but shiver. Name? Yes, he left in a hurry in the morning. He didn't even have time to see this person's name. Don't worry, I will definitely do what I promised you. So, 3 days later, here, just come over. I will pay you back with interest. The reason why Lin Yu was so confident was all because of his body. He thought that since he could live in the nursery center, no matter how ordinary this young man's family was, he could at least take out 100 or 200,000 yuan. He would use it first and return it when he made money. After seeing Lin Yu's skills, the yellow-haired gangster didn't dare to say anything more. Just as he was about to nod and agree, he suddenly looked out of the store in a daze, as if he was attracted by something. Lin Yu also looked out curiously. He saw a red BMW X5 at the door. As soon as the door opened, a pair of fair and slender legs stepped out. Then, a tall beauty in a white bohemian dress got out of the car. /book/18/18289/ The beauty in the long dress stroked her long black hair and took off her sunglasses. Her fair skin and delicate face were simply amazing. The yellow-haired gangster and his gang were stunned. Lin Yu couldn't help but be attracted. This beauty's appearance and temperament were really superb. The beauty in the long dress looked up at the bun shop, frowned slightly, and then walked in quickly. /book/18/18289/ Beauty, do you want to buy some buns? What kind of filling do you want? Lin Yu couldn't help but blurt out. He used to help his mother sell buns, so it had become a conditioned reflex to say this when he met people. What did you call me? The beauty in the long dress glanced at him coldly and said in a displeased tone, "Beauty." Lin Yu felt that there was no problem with the way he called her, but he couldn't help but be a little confused. It was the first time that he saw someone who didn't want to listen to him when he called her a beauty. The beauty in the long dress looked at him and said coldly, "Well, He Jerong, you have been in a coma for 2 months and you don't even recognize your own wife." /book/18/18289 /book/18/18289 / try reading the contents.